can't be crossing like that.
That's intersecting.
That's intersecting, yeah.
Oh, but if it's just touchy like this.
I know, but going beyond it, crossing it. Wait, y'all gotta turn off.
I'm not getting the live.
Because he had to redo it because it was
perpendicular.
No, it wasn't perpendicular.
It was vertical.
It was vertical.
Parallel.
It wasn't horizontal. Turn off the air conditioner, open the door.
Did you know that India has more Muslims than all of the Arab Peninsula?
So does Indonesia.
Really?
Yeah.
Indonesia
has more Muslims than
The whole world, huh?
in the whole world.
I learned that from Abu
They have the 4th largest population in the world.
I thought it was number 1.
No,
that's-
India is number 1 now.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I thought that was China.
No,
They keep switching back and forth. See who's number 1 now.
I'm gonna look it up. What about the Maldives?
Oh.
There's no way.
What is it you in the Maldives, Akhi?
What is it with the visa?
Did you get it going again, or is it
India also.
is it now horizontal or is it vertical? Well, we're here and we're having a geometry lesson today. We're going over intersecting lines, perpendicular, and we also know that people who lay tiles failed math. All right, so Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa ba'd. So in keeping with a well-known tradition of the Maj, is that whenever somebody had a poem that they wrote, that the Sheikh would allow the person to get up and recite the poem before the class. So in maintaining that tradition, my son has written a poem. I hope you got it memorized, or you gonna? Huh? How are you gonna read it if you don't have it with you? You got okay. There you go. He's gonna read the poem that he wrote. It's in Arabic, by the way, because we're not gonna accept any poetry in English. Sorry, man. I guess that would be okay if you did it. I mean, it would sound stupid, but yeah, or hark thou out into the night. I don't know, like what would poetry in English is. Actually, I would say it's stupid.
Moses are red, violets are blue. I went to Bullard. How about you? So stupid.
They're waiting on you, man. Go.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. يا هلا ويا مرحبا بالحضور السعيدة. أحييكم بليلة الجمعة فيها دروس فخور. أسعدكم الله، سعدتونا بالنفوس الطيبة. أسأل الله أن يملأ وجوهكم بأكملها نور. تقبل الله أعمالنا وأعمالكم منها كل خير، واجمعنا يوم القيامة بسرور. نأخذ فيها أحاديث النبي وكلامه، نملأ قلوبنا رحمة ونصفي الصدور. يا أخوة نحييكم أحلى تحية دين. هذه هي الضرور، ونودعكم أحلى الودعة، وأسألكم الله تحمد الله على كل الظروف.
Jamil. He's better than I am, Akhi. I can only memorize poetry. I don't write it. I read it. I'm ignoring her. I didn't write the poem. How am I going to translate it? He's going to have to be the one to translate it. Huh? Get off my lawn. All right, let's get started, inshallah. All right, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So we're on chapter 185, yes? All right, قال الإمام البخاري رحمه الله تعالى باب لا تعد أخاك شيئا فتخلفه. All right, so bab لا تعد. Ta'id here, it comes from what? From wa'ada ya'idu. Wa'adan. All right, or idatan. It means to promise. All right, to promise. Wa'ada ya'idu. Why is it wa'ada, but then it becomes ya'idu, ta'idu, na'idu? Why does it become like that? Basic lesson in Sarf. Come on, man. You guys are studying with Abdul Hakim. You should be able to answer this question. Huh?
Not there yet.
All right, if the fi'l, it starts with a waw. All right, but the second letter, the ayn, because we have three letters in the fi'l. We have what? Fa, ayn, lam, fa'ala. So the fa is the waw. The ayn is the ayn. Wa'a. And the dal is the lam. All right, so those are the three letters, right? So if the ayn of the fi'l that starts with a waw is maksur, it has a kasra, then the waw gets what? It gets dropped. But if the fi'l has a fatha on the fi'l mudari', there's a fatha on the ayn, then the waw remains. All right, it remains. So basic thing in sarf. All right. So that's why it gets dropped here, because it's maksur. The ayn is maksur. All right, so that's why he said babu la ta'id. So why is it la ta'id? With a sukoon. Shouldn't it be la ta'idu? But it says la ta'id. Why?
Yeah.
It is negating like do not make a promise, or this is like the la is negating.
No, it's not a negation. If it was a negation, then that means it's nafiya. The la here would be nafiya, then it would be la ta'idu. There'd be a dhamma. There wouldn't be a sukoon. Now this is nahiya. All right, it's a nahi, which means that it's a la ta'id. It means don't do this. It's a shows an impermissible thing. All right, it can show impermissibility, or it can show something that's makruh. All right, depending on, but in general, if you see the nahi, it shows impermissibility. That's the general. Huh? What's up?
Something ending in a sukoon.
Now, if you have la taf'al, and it's with a sukoon, then it's nahiya. All right, so babu la ta'id akhaka. Why is it akhak, not akhuk? I should be looking at the chat because you guys ain't answered nothing. Safe, you study this one.
It's a command.
Huh?
Is it a command?
What?
Is it a command?
No. All right, akhak, because one, akh, is from the asma' al-khamsa, or some say the asma' sitta. And what are the asma' sitta? What? Abuk wa akhuk wa hanuk wa fuk wa dhu malin. That's the khamsa. All right. All right, so, all right, or dhu malin. All right, so it's from the asma' al-khamsa, right? Like I said, some of them say sitta, but it's khamsa. So, and it's maf'ulun bi. So, la ta'id akhak. But if it's maf'ulun bi, then it's what? Mansub bi ish. Because the asl of a maf'ulun bi is mansub bi ish. Bil fatha, yeah? No? We haven't studied this yet, have we? We studied this, the akhak thing, but we haven't studied the nasb. So, yeah, he's free. I let him slide on this one. You can, huh? What happened? It's an eye test for Esed. Don't try to, it's not like some secret Illuminati code password or something like that. Don't worry. I was writing letters on the board and making them stand far away. Just random. And it just happened to be cat pet. So, but, and he was standing back, covering each eye, him and Mujahid, doing an eye test. All right, so la ta'id akhaka shay'an fatukhlifahu. All right, so don't promise your brother something. Fatukhlifahu. Fatukhlifahu, it means from akhlafa, yukhlifu what? Yukhlifu wa'dan. So if you tukhlifu wa'dan, it means that you break a promise. So he said, don't promise your brother something, and then you break the promise. All right, and this is generally with people who have a hard time telling people what? No. So what do? They end up overextending themselves and promising a whole bunch of people different things, and they just can't keep up with it. So the whole point of not falling into this is just to know the limits of your capabilities. And when you just don't have the abilities, just don't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it. You know, or learn how to delegate things and get other people, maybe find another person that might be able to help the person. But to continue to promise things, and we all fall into this, Allah musta'an, which is, this is like so common in these days that if you're one of those people who doesn't do this, mashallah, you're what? What's up? What's up?
Dying, it's flashing red.
You got the other one charged up? Y'all just let me know if y'all can hear me now, because we had to switch microphones. Okay. Can you hear it? Check it.
It's good. Yeah.
What tea is that? Huh?
Okay.
Oh, you did Earl Grey.
Now, where'd you get that?
What?
That Earl Grey.
I think it's called Harney and Sons. I think the name of the tea company.
Harney and Sons?
I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we're good.
It's way better than the Walmart brand, that's for sure.
Why would you buy tea at Walmart?
Cheap.
Huh?
Cheap.
I don't look, man. I'll go cheap on everything but tea and coffee. Those are the two things I just don't go cheap on. And water. All right. So Bab la ta'id akhaka shay'an fatukhlifu. So don't promise your brother something and then you break the promise. All right. So this is hadith number 394. حدثنا عبد الله بن سعيد قال حدثنا عبد الرحمن بن محمد المحاربي عن ليث. This is Layth ibn Sulaym, and he's ضعيف. اختلط وترك حديثه. That means that he got mixed up. He started mixing up a hadith, and then they left off narrating hadith from him.
So, what if there's a hadith narrated before he started doing it? And they accept
No, I mean, if you don't know which one is which, then you leave it off. So, and then you have to go back and check, and obviously they weren't able to validate it, so it's ضعيف. This hadith is ضعيف. So عن ليث عن عبد الملك عن إكرمة عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تماري أخاك ولا تمازحه ولا تعده موعدا فتخلفه. And even though the hadith is ضعيف, the meaning of it agrees with all the principles that we have in Islam. All right, we have, all the principles that we have in Islam, alhamdulillah, this hadith agrees with it, although the hadith is what? ضعيف. All right, so here he said, so this is narrated on the authority of Ibn Abbas. He said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "La tumari akhak." Mara, you marry, mira'an is what? It means nadara or jadala, yunadiru, yujadilu. It means to debate and argue with. So he said, do not debate with your brother. Like, don't get in all these types of debates where you're just like, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he mentioned that, or he said, "Ana za'imun bi baytin fi rabd al-jannah liman taraka mira' walau kana muhiqqan." So that he said that I promise you a place in the middle part of Jannah for the person who leaves off debating with the people, even if he's right, even if the truth is with him. So there's absolutely no benefit with debating unless, the two people meet the conditions to be able to debate, which 9 times out of 10, well, actually 9.99999 times out of 10, that's just not going to happen. Because that means that the two individuals have, one, they're coming, the whole intention of the debate is to get to the truth. But that's not what happens in debate. What happens with debate?
Right, you're wrong.
Exactly. It's each one trying to defeat the other, trying to I come with a stronger argument or better. Nah, it's not. This is why we don't have debates in Islam. We have a niqash or a munaqasha. All right, if we have an issue, we can sit down and do a niqash. We can go back and forth. You present your adillah, I present my adillah, and whoever has the most correct evidence, that's what we accept, and that's it. But as far as debating, as debating goes, no. I mean, this is not, as you see here, that the Prophet ﷺ promised a place in Jannah for the person that leaves off debating, even if what? The truth is on his side, to leave it, because there's no benefit. And the thing about it is debating is about skill. It's a skill set. And if you master the skills of debate, you can defeat anybody, even though you have no evidence. And and that's the whole thing. That's why one of the Salaf, I'm trying to remember exactly what he said, but he said, ناظرت عالما فغلبته وناظرت سفيها فغلبني. And that's the truth about debate. He said that I debated with a knowledgeable person and I defeated him. Why? Because I had evidence and he was knowledgeable and he accepted the evidence and I defeated him. But he said I got into a debate and an argument with a fool and the fool defeated me. Because the fool doesn't know evidence. He's going to result to what? He's going to result to name calling and doing things that maybe make people laugh at you and to make you look just where like people just disrespect you, basically.
Psychological warfare.
That's not psychological warfare because he's a fool. He's not at that level to where he could play that game. He doesn't have knowledge to argue with you. So what is he going to do when you start to speak in a manner that he doesn't? He's just going to call you a name, because that's what fools do. If you try to come with an argument, they just call you a name. That's the only way that they can handle something. If they don't agree with you or they don't want to agree with you, then this is the only tactic of debate that they have. It's to result to name calling and dissing you, speaking bad about you, making the people laugh about you, doing sukhriya, doing istihza, istighfaf, and all these types of things, to all these tactics just to like belittle you in front of the people so that the people laugh at you. And if he manages to get the people to laugh at you, even though you had all the evidence in the world, in the eyes of the people, who won the debate? The fool. And the thing about it is you represent the truth. So why would you take the truth now and put it into the arena where your opponent is a fool? It doesn't make sense. If you understand that this person is not going to use the proper tactics of debate, that this person is not looking for the truth, then why would you talk with them in the first place? So, and that's why, I always mention the statement of Al-A'mash, when he saw one of his students, he was giving hadith to a person in the street, just a regular person. What did he say? Say, Ya Fulan, لماذا تعلق اللؤلؤ على أعناق الخنازير? Why are you hanging pearls on the necks of pigs? Because giving knowledge to a person, to a fool, or to just a person who's not ready to accept it, is just like putting the pearls, these expensive pearls on the necks of pigs. What's the benefit if you put a pearl necklace on the neck of a pig? It's a waste of money, right? So this is a waste of knowledge, giving knowledge to people who aren't ready for it, who aren't willing to accept it. If you see a person and acting in this type of manner of foolish behavior, you don't debate with this person. You don't talk with this person. You don't discuss with this person, because there's nothing that this person has to discuss. So, but all right. So he said, وَلَا تُمَارِ أَخَاكَ وَلَا تُمَازِحُ. Now this does not mean don't joke with your brother. How did they translate this?
Do not make a joke or do not make fun of him.
Yeah, so this is more like along the lines of pranking. Like, don't make jokes about him or don't joke with him in a manner of like making him feel bad or making him scared or making any of these type where you're making the people laugh at him. This type of thing. This is a mumazaha. All right, so in this regard, this is not permissible. ولا تمازحه. All right, ولا تعده موعدا فتخلفه, and don't promise him anything. Don't promise him any promise, and then you go and you break your promise, or you don't fulfill your promise. So all of this is all, like I said, in agreement with the deen. None of this goes against the deen, although the hadith is da'if. But these are all things that we can still benefit from and still act upon. as far as like maintaining this type of behavior of not debating with people, not joking around with people. And it's like, again, it's not talking about not joking. Joking is permissible in Islam as long as it has its limits. But to like joke to, you know, to the point of, you know, this is all you do and you become like a comedian, then nah, this is not liked in this religion. It's disliked. So we should not fall into that type of thing. But as far as joking where the other person is the butt of your joke, then that's definitely not permissible. Because again, you know, the Muslim has rights over us. And from amongst those rights, we don't bring fear to him. We don't, you know, we don't belittle him. Just like the Prophet ﷺ said, Muslim ma'akhul Muslim, la yavlimuhu, wa la yahkiruhu, wa la yakhdhuluhu. So he mentioned that every Muslim is a what? Is a brother to another Muslim. And he said that he like la yavlimuhu, he doesn't oppress him in any form of oppression. And belittling him and making him the butt of your joke, this is a form of oppression. It's disrespectful. But he also said, وَلَا تَحْقِرُهُ. And tahkiruhu, it means what? And it don't look down upon him. Don't belittle him. وَلَا تَخْذُلُهُ. And don't what? Don't leave him. Don't abandon him in his time of need. So this is a part of al-akhuwa al-islamiyya. We don't do these things. This is from the traits of the kuffar. The traits of the kuffar is that they joke with each other in this regards. Or they have these bad names for each other, you know, or they call people all types of names, you know, even to the point, I mean, you can't even mention these names on this video because of how filthy they are. But this is their manner of joking around. And as Muslims, we don't adopt their behavior. You know, we treat each other with respect and honor, and we don't just joke around. I mean, like I said, we joke around with each other, but with limitations. And if you start to see that it's starting to affect the person that you're joking with, you stop. You stop, you know. All right. I'm going to the next chapter. Bab al-ta'an fil ansab. All right, al-ta'an, the word ta'ana, it actually means to stab. All right, to stab like with a knife or with a sword, to pierce. All right, to stab somebody with something. But here it doesn't mean ta'an here, it does not mean to stab somebody, but it means to what? How did they translate it in English? Huh? It's we don't even say that. That's not even a proper word. You don't attack somebody's lineage. What's a better word for that?
Insult.
Not insult.
Defame.
Because you're not insulting his lineage, but you're belittling him in regards to his lineage. And that's a ta'an fil ansab. Like, for example, if the person has a lineage that's not, I guess you could say, held in high regard amongst the people in society, and you constantly remind him of this in a manner of belittling him and show him like, oh, you're nothing, oh, your father was fulan, or you're from this tribe, and you know. So I mean, and this is this happens till today. You know, anybody who lives in the north of Yemen, like in Sa'ada, they have these people, they call them Doshanis or Sawadis. A Doshani is like a dude that, you know, is just like a Doshani is like a person that doesn't really have a tribe, or when the tribe was fighting like a long time ago, they didn't participate in the fighting, so they kicked them out of the tribe, so they have no, you know, tribal connection. So they call these guys Doshanis, and it's not permissible for you to marry your daughter to them. They're not allowed to marry from a tribe, and even if they try to get married to another tribe, this tribe will contact that tribe and let them know, no, he's Doshani, don't marry your daughter to him. So this happens till today, still till today. I remember, I think I might have told this story before, but there was one brother, Jamil. He's from the Bahamas. Allah yarhamu. He died a while back. He was close with Fareed. So he died, and then Fareed died, I think, a little bit after, not too long after him. So they died really close together. But so Jamil, he was trying to marry this girl from this family. They called him a Sawad, and they're Doshanis. And he's Bahamian. He's from the Bahamas, man. He's not even from anything tribal. But when he tried to marry from them, one of the people from the tribe of Damaj, like the actual Wadi'i tribe, went up to Jamil, and told him, like in Outerby, like, you know, I heard that you want to get married from this girl over here. He said, yeah, I'm trying. And he said, don't do it. And they said, why? He said, don't do it. That was it. End of conversation. You know, and they refused to allow him to, because if he had gone along with the marriage, something bad could have happened to him. You know, not they wouldn't have killed him or nothing like that, but they would have probably set him up. Next thing you know, he would have been up in some prison somewhere. Nobody knows where he's at, but because the tribal people, they have connections. You can't just mess around. You know, Yemen is it's a whole different society than America, man. So you just can't run your mouth to anybody. So he left it. But the whole point of why they told him don't marry the girl is because if she married him, he's Bahamas is considered Western as far as they're concerned, because he's an English-speaking country. He's from an English-speaking country. And because Bahamas was connected with the British, I think they're still connected like British, like a British colony. So it gives that family status. And they're like, no, you're not going to marry anybody else, but don't marry from them. You know, because you're not giving them no status. And so this is what this happened in like 2005, 2006, I think. I can't remember. So, you know, it's still happening till today. So, yarahamakallah. But this is a ta'an fil ansab. This is not very common in America. Why is this not common in America? You know, people belittling others about their lineage.
Because no one gives a crap about their lineage.
Because most people don't know their lineage. Period. You know, if you went around, I'm telling you, if you went around and around and around to most people in America, you will very rarely find an individual that can mention. They probably don't even know who their great-grandfather is, much less their great-great-grandfather or 5 great-grandfather, 5th great-grandfather. So
I can trace mine back to my second great-grandfather.
that's it.
Yeah.
Is it obligatory for us to know?
It's not obligatory, but it's there's power in that type of thing.
Even for if your lineage is just a bunch of Americans?
It doesn't matter. Because the thing about it is like, listen, if you know like who you are, your family, and everybody has this type of knowledge of who their family is, it brings more strength to the people as far as them and their family ties and everything like this. And this is the thing that we should know, because we should study our lineage to the point where it helps us, and you know, to maintain those ties of kinship. You know, because it's very important to understand, you know, who your family is, who you're not. But there's also strength in it, because especially in this Western society, the society that we live in, these kuffar, they want you to forget who you are. They just want you to be what? A lone sheep out in the middle of the countryside, and they're the wolves, and they're just going to pounce on every single lone sheep. But when you have that knowledge of family, you know who you are, you know where you came from. People can't lie to you like that. You know, people can't do those types of things to you because you know your family, you know your history. People can't just come up and make up garbage and throw it out on internet, on Twitter, and tell you what your history is and tell you who you are and who you aren't. You know, so you know who you are, you know your history, you know where you came from. And you're not going to sit here and just tolerate people just making garbage up. You know, so that's knowledge that, you know, everybody should have.
How do you find it out?
Nah, you have to really, I had to search, man. I was searching for years, but then I finally came across one of my, like, I guess he would be I don't know if he'd be my cousin, or I don't know what he would be to me. Look, put it this way. Every single Sutton in North Carolina, Virginia, Texas, every Sutton in America is my family, right? But what he is to me, I don't know. So there's one Sutton, there's one guy, he's a historian. And he's the one that maintained all the family, the whole family tree and everybody and every single branch. And I contacted him when I was in Yemen, just to get my father and my grandfather added to the list, because they didn't have them because they moved to Florida. So, you have people that do that. So you just have to look up your family and find that information, you know.
What if you can't find it in your family?
And I guess you're just going to start making the family tree from now. Start the family now, you know.
This is like my great grandpa. I don't know who the hell he is. Where he came from.
Where'd he come from? You don't know?
But now that he was gone. He left, like wherever my dad was born. So It's just me and my dad. I mean, I know his name, but that's it. Never met him. Met him like.
I don't know. I don't know how to help you, man. I mean, you know the best way to do it, you just go. What I started doing was started going through and looking through all documents. You know, and once I found out, okay, because me, it's easy. My father's name is James. My grandfather's name is James. My great grandfather's name is James.
Seriously?
Yeah. And then the great great grandfather's John James. So it was easy. And then after that was Benjamin. So it was easy to, you know, to find it in the documents. But even me, when I first was searching, I took a wrong turn, and I said, "Oh, this must be my fifth great grandfather." I was so out in left field, it was not. Well, left field's that way. It wasn't even funny. But I mean, then you know, whatever. It's research, but it's fun, man. It's really fun.
I can trace it back to like my great grandpa, like my dad's lineage, like the Winfreys. I can trace it back to my great grandpa.
Oh, you're related to Oprah.
I'm pretty sure I'm related to the family that
Rode the bus train.
yeah.
Killed JFK.
No. No.
We really want this video to remain on YouTube, please.
He was abused when he was a kid. The family's from Alabama, and he was abused when he was a kid. And he hopped on a train all the way to here to the Bay Area, and he married my great grandma who was from Greece.
But see, that's the whole thing. If you understand where he came from, so like he came from Alabama, then you go to Alabama and you check the records, because you have like but I mean because you don't just look at ancestry.com. You got ancestry.com, you got Find a Grave. You know, there's a website called Find a Grave. You ever used this website before?
Find a Grave? I use ancestry.com.
Oh, Find a Grave, you can find if you have somebody in your family who's done this research. So in my family, we had this one guy, his name, I can't remember his first name, but his last name was Fields. So basically, from his mother's side, he's like, we share the same fifth great grandfather, right? All right. So he went and he did all this work, right? So what he did is he went and traced he went to the old graves of every single one of the family, took a picture, connected each of the graves to the grandsons, to the father, the grandfather, the great grandfather. So that type of work, somebody has to do it. If somebody, Glenn Fields, that's his name, Glenn Fields. And then when I saw all this work that he did, I was like, wow, man, this is so cool, man. You made my life so much easier doing all this work. I tried to contact him, and as soon as I contacted him, guess what? He was on findagrave.com. He died.
Oh,
wow. I was like, oh, subhanAllah. I couldn't even get in contact with him. Like, right when I found it, I sent him the email, and he died, like, before he could read the email. I guess he was sick as soon as I sent him the email. So, but I mean, it's just, you have to go back and search where the hustle, because everybody in America, they you know, when they settled originally, they settled in certain areas. All right. So my family originally settled in New Jersey. All right. New Jersey. Then the family branched out to different areas. Once you know the origin, where it started, then you can always go back that and trace everybody from there, you know. Like they settled when they came from whatever country they came from.
Dang, it goes all the way that far back?
Because some people came from Britain, some people came from Germany, some people came from Ireland. The Mayflower, I don't even know. Is that even real? Those are the pilgrims, Akhi. I'm not talking about that, man. We're talking about, you know, this is like, we're talking about late 1600s, early 1690s. Huh? The British when they came. Because you had the British that came over and the Irish that were brought over, because the Irish were the first slaves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you have a lot of the Irish that became the hillbillies up in the mountains in West Virginia and those areas. You know, those dudes are the original Irish that were brought for slaves, but they were like useless, so they ended up, you know, just becoming like trailer trash, basically, you know, till today.
Ireland was like the first country the UK colonized, right?
Huh?
Ireland was like the first country that Britain colonized, right?
Did they colonize it?
Scotland.
Scotland?
You need to ask this guy.
Oh,
dude.
Your family came here in the 1600s?
1690, like 1692.
Can someone came here before that?
Huh?
Did someone have came here before that?
I had a 12th grade grandfather that came here and then went back to Britain.
Oh,
And then his sons came, and I'm like descended from those sons.
how long was America around?
So
for?
George Ambrose Sutton, he came here early, way before, but then his sons came. And the two sons actually came as two servants, believe it or not. They were actually servants for a really rich dude. And the rich dude was like amazed like how, you know, the integrity that they had. So when they got off the boat, he actually married both of them to his daughters. Yeah.
So 1600s, was that close to when America was founded?
America wasn't founded in that is a country talking about like legitimized as a country.
Yeah.
That's
was
way
the
before.
1780s.
Yeah.
It was a colony.
Oh dang! So they came here before America was even a thing.
No, I mean it was it wasn't America as what you see now.
America.
The continent's always been there.
Yeah, I mean, America as it exists was initially a British
You
colony.
traced it all the way back to those 1600s.
I traced it back before that, but the thing is I'd have to get to Britain to actually
That was almost 1,000 years ago.
No, it wasn't.
yeah. No, before that, because I traced it away, but whatever, you know. But the thing is like I said, so people can't come up and like argue. I have access to the wills of all my great grandfathers, right?
1600s?
No, the 1700s. The wills, the letters, and like even during the Civil War, the letters that they wrote. So now when some people come up to me and talk all this garbage now that they talk on social media, I know the truth. You're not gonna try to lie to me and try, because oh, you guys, your family's this, oh, you're white, you're killer. Nah, you lie. You don't know. Because my family never had that. My great grandfather, my fifth great grandfather had 24 sons, Achi.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Are you serious?
yeah. 24 sons.
And you got his letters?
And 8 of them died in the Civil War. So that's why I got all the Civil War letters.
Really? You have them actually?
They're in a museum in North Carolina.
No way.
So they archived them. They digitally archived them. And I read them all when I was in Yemen. Not in Yemen, in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I have what's it called? Some like not from my Winfrey lineage, but from my Greek lineage. Like I know so much more about my Greek lineage. Like I know that my second great grandfather's name Konstantinos Tsitsikakis. He came from Artemini, which is a little village in Crete. He came in like pre-World War I to the Bay Area, and but yeah, it's like, and I barely know my Winfrey. Like all of that is because like my family, they did all that research. I have a whole binder, like a whole biography of them. And so that's why I know so much.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, man, it's important.
Those 8 that died in the Civil War, were they fighting for the Confederacy or the Union?
We gotta keep the lights.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Well, no, because this is the lie, right? Most of the people that were fighting, especially in North Carolina, they were fighting because their land got burnt down. So what they did is they went down and they burned down the family's farm. So the family, like, I want to burn down my farm. All right, so all my uncles, they went out and fought. It wasn't about defending no side of the, they weren't defending. That's what I'm saying. So I read the letters. I know the truth. So you can't allow, all this garbage that the people try to, where they're trying to like lie to people to get people arguing and bickering and causing all this dissension. The truth is what, khalas, the truth will always reign supreme. And the thing is like us, if we all had that knowledge, we all had that understanding, we all knew where we came from, our history and everything. If we made mistakes, if there was like mistakes in our history, then what we do? We fix it. And if there were good things in our past, then those good things serve as a motivation to help us to become better and to continue on the type of good that was going on. So yeah, I had great grandfathers that were what are those the high religious people in Britain? What are they called again?
Monarchs.
No, not monarchs.
Well, like clergy?
Nah, the religious dudes. Not the bishops, man. Like in
The high priest.
no, man. You're talking about the Catholic Church, dude. Like you have a mufti in like like in Saudi Arabia, like he's the mufti, like But in the archbishops.
Yeah, archbishops.
So I got family those archbishops. All right, so that's what I'm saying. It's like you understand like this religious thing, it goes through the family. So there's something that it's like now you're like, okay, now we've changed it up. Now we're Muslim now. Now we're learning about Islam, and now we're trying to like get knowledge and learn and flipping the whole script, but we still continue on with that type of khair. Okay, so there was a love for religion, but now we're gonna love the correct religion. All right, there was certain type of good things that that you know throughout your history. So you build on those good things. Just like the Prophet ﷺ said, he said, "Bu'iftu li'utammima makarim al-akhlaq." And I was sent, what? Li'utammim, to complete the most honorable of character, to complete it. The honorable character already existed amongst the Arabs. They already had good qualities. But it was now to what? Itmam. It was a completion. It was now bringing it up to a higher level because now you're doing it with Islam. You're doing it with Tawheed. You're doing it with Ikhlas. So this is very, very important that and again, if there's mistakes, all right, if like, for example, like you become like a descendant of like Genghis Khan or something like that, somebody who just went through the earth, just raping and killing people, you learn from those mistakes. This is a history that you accept of your family, but you learn from it. And, and a part of that is to like what? Call the people to the opposite. Now you're Muslim, you call the people to the deen, the correct deen. You call the people to the truth, So for me, it's a beautiful thing to know like this is my whole family. And now how we just flipped it. Now it went from Benjamin, John, James, Muhammad, Asad, Saif, Mujahid. You see how the change happened. And that's beautiful. You look through your whole family tree and you're like, man, I got a whole family tree of people who are burning in the hellfire right now. And then alhamdulillah, that Allah bless out of all of this, bless this one little branch to like leave what they were upon and go to the truth. That's beautiful. That's strength. That's powerful. And and again, you can't, you're not going to fall for this garbage. Like, all the stuff that I see on social media, it's laughable to me. Once you're like well read in history and the games that these kuffar play, see the kuffar, what do? They spread their propaganda and their garbage to the least common denominator. And they get the least common denominator, what? Emotional and fired up. And that's what causes all the problems. From there, that's where the fire starts. You don't start the fire on the wet tree. You start the fire what? On the dry grass, which is the fools, the dumb people of the society. That's where the fire starts. And that's where they light their fires. They're not stupid. They know what they're doing. Now you go and take a whole bunch of people who know their family, know their lineage, know their history. Yeah, you can't lie to these people. You can't spread that garbage. They're not going to accept it. You see like the change in society if the people actually understood where they came from, understood their lineage. And like I said, man, it takes a lot of work, but it's worth it. Wallahi, it's worth it. I spent like years, akhi. My father had done all the work. But the problem is because my father died before I could get that work from him. And when I spoke to my stepmother about it, she said it's all buried in boxes. I said, look, I'm not going to go through all that. I'm just going to do it myself. And I did, alhamdulillah, But it took a long time, man. It took a long time. A lot of getting things wrong, then correcting it. That's what research is, akhi. Research, when you first start to research, it's going to be a lot of mistakes. And that's in anything. If you go back and you look in the early works of all the sciences of Islam, you see like the early books, they're what? I won't say there's like mistakes, but they're not well put together. But then people come along after them and add to it and correct things and do tahdib. And, like they say, well, we don't need this. We're going to add this. Next thing you know, it becomes a complete science, And if you ever want to understand that, go look at when they talk about like al-itqan fi ulum al-Quran, Suyuti, and see what he did and see the development of that science and how it started off and then what it became. That's what it is. That's what research is. Research is always going to be kind of flimsy in the beginning, but then you start to, you have to keep going back through it and going back through it and going back through it until you complete it. And when you complete it, then you have something that's much more powerful, inshallah. Friday discussions, man. Huh? All right. Bab ta'an fil ansab. All right. So this is something that's going to remain in this deen regardless. And this is from the traits of Jahiliyyah. All right, because again, we learn our lineage not to belittle other people, but to do what? To strengthen your family ties and to strengthen, because everything, akhi, there's strength in family, man. There's so much strength in family. And there's strength in this deen and there's strength in family. And when you put these two things together, when you put deen and family together, that's super strong, akhi. So he said, hadith number 395, حدثنا Abu Asim. Safe. روح إلى الغرفة خذ الكتاب السنة من هو أنا تركته فوق السرير.
What is that?
What's that? What this?
Yeah, chocolate mustard.
This drink right here, I call this drink, it's a special drink. It's called, it's none of your business.
Sounds good.
I was saving. I knew Ibrahim was gonna ask me this. If I drink it, because all he's gonna see it looks like chocolate, right?
Yeah.
Chocolate milk?
No.
That's like mocha.
Nah, man, don't disrespect Yemen like that, man. Well, nobody call that stuff mocha anymore. That's garbage, akhi. Macha is a port in Yemen where they used to ship the coffee beans out of. It's not a type of coffee. Like, yeah, man. White girls always got to destroy everything, don't they? Like, you put anything cultural in the hands of Becky and Nicole and all her friends, boys, they will destroy everything, man. Mocha, this is mocha. It's not mocha. First off, mocha. Nobody in Yemen drinks that. First off, and no, you know that the name mocha, it comes from the word macha. And I'm telling you, that's what I'm saying. Macha is a port in Hodeidah. It's a port in Yemen. You know, and this is the original port where they used to grow the coffee in Yemen, and they sent it out through this port. So it became famous for like shipping coffee. So where did they get this chocolate drink called mocha? I have no idea.
Or it's like that place in Indonesia.
It's Banda Aceh.
No.
Which place?
Uh,
Java.
yeah.
But it's not Java, it's Jawa.
Yeah, I know, but they say like.
It's white girls. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You gotta
Like I said, you get white girls trying to.
Like chai tea.
Hold on, man. I gotta give the boys medicine.
Chai
Chai tea.
Chai tea latte.
That's so redundant. I think it's somebody.
My grandma, she got this chai
Come on,
tea.
man.
And she was like, "Oh, I don't like chai." I was like, "I thought you liked tea." She goes, "Oh yeah, I love tea. I just don't like chai." Oh, really? Chai tea.
Show me the tea, Ibrahim. Please. I'm gonna show him the cup. I mean, I'm gonna show you
I
the
think
cup.
he's talking about the stuff that the chef. I think he's talking about the stuff the chef's drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said earlier that you didn't pay attention to before.
Alright, I'm not paying. Filled most of my corn. So you gotta show him what's inside the dang cup, dude.
This is in the cup.
It's Earl Grey.
Earl Grey, Hamid. Not the white cup. What's wrong with the white cup, Hamid? You don't like white cups? Oh, you barely saw it. I'm not gonna tilt it all the way to the side.
Just don't show him again. Just.
I'm not doing that. You already saw enough. I'm not spilling the tea all over the stuff. Yeah. The safe has to clean it up. You're not doing that to save, man.
Ooh, boy, it's hot today, man.
I know.
Today, we're running around. It's like 108 degrees in the car, akhi.
I was trying to tell my grandma that it was 109 today. She said it was.
Nah, I'm because we don't have air conditioner in the car, man. So we were like running from here to here to here. We were like, I told my kids, I said, man, we're gonna do all white people stuff today, man. Because my son had to go to Best Buy, so I was like, let's go to Best Buy. We went to PetSmart. We went to what's another white person's place? What's the other one?
Oh, Smart Final.
No, we did actually go to Smart Final. No, we didn't go to Target, but we were there. Oh
Sally's Beauty
no,
Supply.
Dick's Sporting Goods.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because they were all right there. And Target was there, but we didn't go to Target. I was like, nah, man, Target's too much, man.
Yeah, I don't like that.
It's just too much. And Best Buy was too much. We only went there because we had to. He had to buy a laptop.
Oh,
But Jazz been working.
he's balling, huh?
Yeah, well, he spent all his money on a
Balling
laptop.
on a budget.
Yeah,
Shit.
on a budget that Saddam gave him, so it's a very small budget. It's a very small budget. He's been saving up his money for like, I don't know, like 2 months just to get that, man. Yeah.
What's that movie called? Slumdog Millionaire, Saddam Billionaire.
Saddam millionaire.
Welcome to America.
Oh, what I shut the book for? All right, so let's go ahead and read the hadith, inshallah. All right, so Hadathana Abu Asim. All right, Abu Asim here, Sheikh al-Bukhari, he's Dhahak ibn Makhlad. I thought you were grabbing something. It's an interesting thing. I didn't know this, right, until like today when I was learning about Abu Asim. But Abu Asim is actually the grandfather of Ibn Abi Asim. Ibn Abi Asim is a Sahib al-Sunnah. Now, when I was looking at that, I was like, Abu Asim, and it was like Ibn Abi Asim. I was like, oh, that's his grandfather. And then I was like, don't I have his book, right? So I went, checked in the should I call this a library?
It's his grandfather?
No, this is his grandfather, the Sheikh al-Bukhari. So this is the book for y'all. If y'all, I don't know if y'all can see that. I just put it here. I guess they could see it. Huh? 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 All right, so it's just Kitab al-Sunnah. It's similar to a Sharia, lil-Ajuri. It's the same thing. It's a book. It's dealing with all the issues of al-Aqidah. So, alhamdulillah, man, that's Ibn Abi Asim. And he's the grandson. The writer of this book is the grandson of the Sheikh al-Bukhari. And that's why his name is Ibn Abi Asim.
He's the son of Bukhari.
He's a grandson. They call him Ibn Abi Asim because from the Arabs, what they do is they say Ibn Fulan to the most, like if you have somebody who's very famous in your family and before, they will call you Ibn, it doesn't matter, he could be your third great grandfather, but they would just call you Ibn Fulan, Ibn so-and-so, based on whoever that person is. Like for example, Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah. Ibn Taymiyyah is not even anybody from his family. It's not even nothing. Some of they differ. They differ as to the meaning of Taymiyyah, like where it comes from. Some people say that it's the name of one of his like grandmothers or great grandmothers. Another group of people say like his grandfather, he was in a place called Taymat, and he saw like this little girl, like a little girl on the street, and then he just Taymiyyah, and just stuck, and then he got that name, that laqab Taymiyyah. So they differ as far as like even where he got the name from. So this is from amongst the Arabs. They do this. They generally so here they call him Ibn Abi Asim, but Abu Asim is his grandfather, not his father. But it's just like he's the most how can you say the most known from amongst his lineage. So they just say Ibn, son of that person, of the famous person. Huh? What? No, because it's known. It's known who he is. Yeah. All right. So he said, Haddathana Abu Asim. Abu Asim is an individual also who is known. Some of the people said about him, they said, I've never seen a book in his hand. I never saw a book in his hand. What does that mean? Huh?
He's not educated.
You're funny. No, because he had everything memorized.
Oh.
So he never had a book in his hand. Like whenever he was narrating hadith, he always narrated from his memory. They never saw him with a book in his hand. Never. Some of his students and some of the people that knew him said they never saw him with a book in his hand. All right, so Haddathana Abu Asim an Ibn Ajlan. This is Muhammad ibn Ajlan. An Abihi, an Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu. عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال شعبتان لا تتركهما أمتي النياحة وطعن في الأنساب. So here the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said in this hadith reported by Abi Hurairah, he said شعبتان. Shu'ba is like what? Like a branch or like a branch of something. like shu'ab al-iman, the branches of iman. All right, but he says shu'abatan, like these khaslatan, these two issues, these two things, the people will never ever leave them off. Like this ummah will never leave them. It doesn't matter. Even though we know that these things are haram, there will always be some people in this ummah that what? That do these things, that continue to do these things. Obviously not the people of the sunnah and the people of obedience, but the ignorant people from amongst us, they will continue to do these things. The first thing that he mentioned was a niyaha. What is a niyaha? It's like screaming and crying and yelling whenever a musibah, like any type of trial or tribulation befalls a person, specifically death. Like if a person amongst the family dies and you see the woman, she starts yelling, ah, and starts screaming out stuff. This is a niyaha. And this is from the kaba'ir of the noob. Kaba'ir of the noob. It's a very, very serious sin. And he said after that, well, ta'an fil ansab. And this is the shahid of the hadith and the connection to the chapter heading. That the people will continue to belittle people in regards to their lineage. And like I said, like I mentioned before when we were talking about this, is that we learn our lineage to connect family, to strengthen family ties, not to belittle other people. That's not the purpose of this. We're not trying to sit here and say, oh, my family were kings and your family were a bunch of serfs, serfdoms people, serfs. Is that what they call them, serfs?
Yes.
This is not what we do. This is not what we're about. Like I said, the whole point of the lineage is to connect it between family ties. And that's it. That's all you need. But everything else as far as belittling other people, because fools belittle other people. Fools got nothing else that they can do. There's no other way that they can feel significant in this life than to do what? Put other people down so it makes them feel better. But the thing about it is what? You put other people down, guess what? You don't make you feel better. You're still down. You haven't moved. You haven't progressed out of your, the gutter that you're stuck in. You haven't changed nothing. And you might have pulled somebody down for a time being, but that doesn't matter. That person goes on with his life. So Allah musta'an. You haven't done anything. You're still in the same spot. Until you progress, until you get knowledge and you start to better your character, khalas, you're always going to be in the same spot. All right, let me see. We read one more hadith and that's it. Because this hadith is also also da'if. What? What?
Yeah.
This is a short one. Now, this is on last hadith. Yeah, the next one is long. We're going to save that for the next class, inshallah. All right, 396. All right, chapter 187. Babu hubbi rajuli qawmahu. So this is a chapter of a person, he loves his people. And again, there's nothing wrong with the person loving like where you come from. But you shouldn't be ashamed because this is the way that Allah created you. And however Allah created you, you should be pleased with what Allah has created, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He perfects His creation. And He creates everything with what? With wisdom. Wisdom, hikmah. Hikmatun balagha. Knowledge and wisdom. So nobody, whatever, but this should, this love of your people, love of where you came from, should never lead you to doing what? Al-asabiyya, where you're like, I'm going to fight for my people, because this is jahiliyyah. This is a form of jahiliyyah. So, where, you defend your people on what? I'm going to defend, like, this person because he's from my family, because he's my cousin, just because he's my cousin, and I know he's wrong. That's batil. So anything that leads to that is not permissible. It's not permissible. I mean, even though we're Muslims and we're brothers, I'm not going to defend you when you're wrong. I'm not going to help you in your criminal ways if you're a criminal. I'm not going to sit here and stand up for you and you're doing like the most atrocious acts and oppressing people. I'm not going to stand up for you. That's you. You're on your own when you do those things. So this love for one's people, it's a natural love. It's not a deen love. You understand? So we have to differentiate between this. Deen is deen. Everything else is everything else. And deen is what takes precedence over everything. So our love for our deen, it comes before family. Our love for our deen, it comes before everything else. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith of Abi Hurairah, he said, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى أكون أحب إليه من والده وولده. And in the hadith of Abi Sa'id al-Khudri, also muttafaqun alayhi, he said, وَالنَّاسِ أَجْمَعِينَ. That ziyada وَالنَّاسِ أَجْمَعِينَ laysa min hadith Abi Hurairah. All right, so you have this hadith on Abi Hurairah radiallahu anhu. He said, none of you will believe until I become more beloved to you than your father and your child, than your son. All right, so this shows that the deen, it takes precedence over everything. It takes precedence over everything. You know, so family ties, family love, family, all this, not. Deen comes first. And we don't support people on their, on their batil. We don't support people in criminal behavior. And we don't support criminals, we don't support innovators, even if they're from our family. We still warn against them. Subhanallah. So he said, 396, حدثنا زكريا قال, and this is Zakaria ibn Yahya. حدثنا الحكم ibn al-Mubarak قال حدثنا زياد ibn الربيع قال حدثني عباد الرملي. Abbad here is Abbad ibn Kathir al-Ramli al-Filistini, and he's ضعيف. He's ضعيف. So the hadith is ضعيف. قال حدثتني امرأة يقال لها فصيلة قالت سمعت أبي يقول قلت يا رسول الله أمن عصبيتي أن يعين رجل قومه على ظلم قال نعم. So even though the hadith is ضعيف, the meaning of this hadith is supported in other hadith. The meaning is correct, but the actual hadith itself is not authentic. All right, so here the Prophet ﷺ was asked by a person. He said, "What, O Messenger of Allah, is it from al-asabiyya?" Al-asabiyya, it means like what? How did they translate this?
From the instance of tribalism.
Tribalism is a part of asabiyya. It's partisanship, it's tribalism, it's all of these things together. Tribalism, partisanship, everything. Whether you're getting angry in defense of a tribe, an ideology, a group, whatever.
Campism.
Huh?
Campism.
What is that?
Like, you're in my camp, so I'm gonna support.
Oh, campism.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. That's a part of it. Because it's all, it could be family, it could be tribe. Tribes are families, obviously, because a tribe is a family. They're all one family. But tribalism, family, campism, partisanship, whatever. All of these things go into al-asabiyya. That you're standing in defense of this thing or these people instead of in defense of the truth. So this is why he was asked. He said, "Oh, Messenger of Allah, is it from this type of tribalism mentality that I support a man from my people while he's with his oppression? He's oppressing the people. Should I support him?" And the Prophet ﷺ told him, he said, yes, this is from this type of asabiyya. And asabiyya is from jahiliyyah, which is not accepted, So and that's why the Prophet ﷺ said, he mentioned this in the hadith of Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhum. He said, "Man qatala tahta rayatin ammiyya." What does he mean by rayatin ammiyya? Ammiyya, it comes from al-ama, which means blind. Like he's just in this blind rage, this blind emotional, I'm standing up and fighting for my family. I'm standing up fighting for my group or my gang or whoever this fool wants to fight with, but that's not in support of the truth. So he said, whoever, man, qatala tahta rayatin ammiyya. A raya is a flag. So you fight underneath this flag, this banner of what? Of blindness, this blind emotion and blind tribalism. He said, يَغْضَبُ لِعَصَبَةٍ, that he becomes angry in support of this group. أَوْ يَدَعُ لِلْعَصَبَةِ, or he calls to this group. Or he said what? أَوْ يَنْصُرُ عَصَبَةً, that he's seeking what? He's fighting for the protection and to give victory to this group. He said if he dies on the state, he said فَقُتِلْ, and if he gets killed in the state, فَقِتْلَةٌ جَاهِلِيَّةٌ, that he died the death of a person like similar to a person who died in Jahiliyyah. So this is not permissible at all in the deen to support anything out. Like I said, the deen is at the forefront of everything. We can stand up and defend our family if they're on the truth. But we don't just support them and defend them just because they're our family, especially if they're in the wrong. We don't do that. Like my own children, I will not support my children if they do something wrong. If they do something wrong, they're on their own. You got to handle that on your own. You got to deal with that on your own. I'm not going to support you in that. And I don't want, and I'll tell them too, you don't support me in something that you see I'm oppressing somebody. You know, you don't support me. If you see me being wrong, you advise me that I'm wrong, and you don't support me in something that I'm wrong. What's up? No, it's the neighbors. They have like one of those lights, those electronic, the sensor lights. But it flashes a lot whenever it turns on. Any questions?
Where's Abdul?
I don't know. Why don't you ask Abdul Malik, man? And you asking me like I'm his guardian or something, you know? It's iced coffee with chocolate milk.
Really?
So there is chocolate.
Yeah, but it's not chocolate.
It's like a mudslide.
It's like that much chocolate milk and that much iced coffee. The chocolate milk just overpowered the appearance. That's all.
What flavor of chocolate milk?
What flavor of chocolate milk? That is the most crackhead question I've ever heard. What flavor of chocolate milk?
Dark chocolate, milk chocolate.
Nah, you're not. You're just trying.
I meant what brand?
I don't know.
Do you have any brand?
Man, first question. What flavor of chocolate milk?
What is the ruling on working as a medical receptionist? Would I be aiding in sin if I schedule visits that will have khawla, and if I have to deal with the insurance agency for the patients?
What? No. Ask the question again. Sorry.
What is the ruling on working as a medical receptionist?
Abdul Malik said I'm in class. He's online. And online in class. Mr. Flavor, what flavor chocolate milk?
What brand?
You need me to ask the question?
Yes, please.
What is...
This is called an Ibrahimism. You know, like he's going to have one, like every single live stream. He's going to have one of these. Yeah.
What is the ruling on working as a medical receptionist? Would I be aiding in sin if I schedule visits that will have a khalwa, and if I have to deal with the insurance agencies of the patients?
Let me think about that. A live stream, man, that's too. Let me think about it. Next question.
Ustad, it says a Muslim, right? So how about debating a kafir in the first place?
No, you don't debate a kafir. Why would you debate a kafir? I mean, because we debate people. Again, the whole purpose of a debate is like what? You have evidence, I have evidence, and we're trying to come into an agreement with what? Whose evidence is stronger? If your evidence is stronger on this issue, I accept your evidence. I accept the opinion that you have based on the evidence that you have. And if my opinion is stronger based on the evidence that I presented, then you accept what I'm, this is what debating is about. And this is what discussions are about. A kafir has no evidence. A kafir has no nothing. I mean, he has a book, some English book that was what? Translated from a translation that's been changed and messed up and flip-flopped and tossed over here and tossed over there and wishy-washed and all this type of stuff. And then now he's going to come and argue with you? Nah, because in a debate, when you debate with another person, that means that you're validating something that person has. Because why would you feel that he's a worthy opponent to debate? A kafir is not even on a level for us to debate. And the best case scenario, you what? You embarrass the kafir. Worst case scenario, what? The kafir embarrasses you. And then they get on, all over social media and say, oh, this is my discussion with this Muslim guy. Look how I shut him down. And, come on, man. We don't keep those doors closed, akhi. Keep those doors closed. Let them just run around and do the little garbage that they do, posting their little videos amongst themselves, akhi. All their talk and all that they say, it does no damage to us whatsoever. Islam continues to grow, and their churches are becoming emptier and emptier. So it doesn't really matter, akhi.
And then becoming a masjid.
Huh?
And then becoming a masjid.
And churches becoming masajid. And even, but that's nothing to boast about either. You know, oh, just because a bunch of people become a Muslim. But again, we still want quality of Muslims. We don't just want quantity. Numbers are not just what we're after. Huh? What? Hey, Shu? Who said that? Somebody said that in the chat. Oh, you already blocked them? Yeah. Crackhead, yeah.
Coffee no good is good for your health.
Huh?
Coffee no good is good for your health.
Well, so I'm not allowed to drink it on Fridays?
That's what Hamid said.
Huh?
That's what Hamid said.
So it's haram for me to drink it on Fridays, Hamid? I mean, I can't even have one day a week to sit here and just drink some coffee? Come on. God, man. Why you gotta be so strict, Akhi? Huh?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Is it permissible
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
to want to be an imam in the haram? Wait, is it permissible to want to be an imam in the haram? Should we be weary of intentions?
I mean, what do you want to be the imam in a haram for? For what? For status? So people can hear you? People will like look up to you and something that you could put on a CV? Or excuse me, a resume? I keep forgetting I'm in America. It all goes back to your intentions. So.
Can I ask a question? So my mother has this like antique shop she runs.
Oh.
And so she sells a bunch of stuff, but a lot of it is like things with faces, like old, like stuffed animal pictures and stuff. And like just this last week, she went to an estate sale and she bought a bunch of like Christmas and Halloween decorations. So like ghosts and Santa Clauses and stuff. So she, in the past, she's been asking me to help her like transport the stuff and help her set it up in the shop. Is it forbidden for me to do so? And what if it's like when she gets home, you know, and she has it, am I allowed to like even help her move it into the house, or should I just stay away from it entirely?
I mean, if you see that she's going to be struggling just as far as like lifting heavy boxes, I would just help her lift it. But I mean, as far as like helping her set up all that stuff, because you're not helping her to move that type of stuff. You're just helping her because you see your mother struggling with something. But as far as like helping her set up the decorations, set up all this stuff in the shop, is not permissible. But let her know. I mean, sit down with her and just explain, you know, I really want to help you and I'll help you with anything else, but not this. You know, I can't do this, you know. Yeah. And then, you know, go clean the kitchen and clean the bathrooms so she's happy, you know. You wake up like 4 o'clock in the morning, you clean the kitchen and clean the bathrooms. Your mother be like, all right, you don't ever have to help me at the store. You know, just keep cleaning the kitchen and the bathrooms. You know, nothing makes a mother happier than that.
What does the Quran and Sunnah say about those timetables
What timetables?
for the Adab?
I mean, we don't go by a timetable, man. We go from by the position of the sun. So, we, you know, everything that we have, it goes back to the sun rise. You know, the sun on the horizon before it rises, the sun after it rises, the sun after it starts this, you know, western trek. The sun, once it now dips down below the horizon, and then once the light disappears from over the horizon from the west, that's the Salat al-Isha. That's what we go by. We don't go by timetables. This timetable thing is bid'ah. You know, if that's all you have, that's all you have. And the majority of the people, especially living in cities, it's really hard to tell, especially like the time for Fajr. Yeah, all the lights. Yeah, it's very. I mean, if you live out in the countryside, you can easily, you know, if you live out here like a farmer that lives between like here and Kerman, you can easily look out to the horizon, you know, to where the sun is gonna come up, you know, to the eastern horizon, and you can see that light on the horizon. You know, it's time for Fajr. You know, and the same thing goes for like after Maghrib. You can look towards the western horizon, and you see that disappearance of that white light on the horizon. You know, it's time for Isha. Things like that. I mean, it's easy for people in the countryside. And that's the way that we should be praying based on those time, not on the timetable. But again, you know, you do what you're able to do. You know, well, we shouldn't become 100% reliant on timetables. The people should still be taught how to understand the time for Salah.
Any advice on getting the Islamic books I need in Arabic while living in the USA? Most bookstores online I've seen just carry a bunch of translations.
What bookstore are you talking about? Arabic books?
Islamic books I need in Arabic.
I mean, you got like Sifat Safwa. You got Jarir. Jarir is not. I mean, they got some decent books. It's not like a Islamic bookstore. They got a lot of stupidity there, you know. But they also got some good books there. But it's not like I said, it's not a wholly Islamic bookstore. It's definitely not a Salafi bookstore. Hamid, I think, mentioned another bookstore that they're opening. It's a Salafi book. Like, what is that called? I think you mentioned it in the chat, right? So I mean, that's it. I mean, most of the books I order is from Sifat Safwa and Jarir, or just get somebody from overseas to bring it. You know, if that's something else that you can't find on those websites.
What are Freemasons?
Man, go to BitChute and go find videos about Freemasons, man.
What is it?
BitChute. You don't know what BitChute is?
BITSHO.
No, shoot, like a shoot, like a.
The trash chute.
Oh, BICH.
No, wait, you're spelling some craziness, man. Bit, BIT, CHUTE, a shoot.
Shoot.
Like a laundry chute, or you know, like a shoot, like a child, but it's a CH. It's one of those stupid things in the English language where it's a CH, but it's pronounced shut. It's one of those, and people don't understand that or why that is, but you got to understand that English is taken from 5 or 6 different languages, and they take the pronunciation and the spelling from those languages, so it's why it's all messed up, man.
We got everything on here.
Can I read Aqidah Tahawiyah?
He's gonna be sitting here now, over here busy with BitChute right now, trying to find out videos about Masons now. Probably gonna lose this video because I advised him to go to that website. Allah Mustaan.
What is it?
It's like one of those things where like all the band. See, I can't really explain. Like, let me try to explain it in a way where our videos will not get taken down. During the oh my God, China disease is spreading, during that time period, a certain video website was blocking anybody that gave an opposing viewpoint to the official narrative of what you should be putting in your body. BitChute was one of those places where they did not block those people. So the doctors that got banned from these places, they went over there to there and they would upload their videos explaining that this is wrong and this is, so that's how a lot of the people had the information that they had and knew not to put certain things in their body. Let's just say that, because we've already gotten one video taken down for me speaking about this issue. We don't need another one. We still got a strike on this channel too.
Can I read?
And we got a strike actually still on this channel from that. Speaking about this topic, Ahi, because I got medical misinformation.
Was that when we were in Kermit?
No, yeah. Yeah, no, I think no, it was when we were in the back room over there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We were doing it in the room, that room by the bathroom.
Talking about the
No, don't talking about nothing. Talking about
David.
Huh?
How David is a cross-dressing.
no,
no, not that one.
about
That was in Kerman. Yeah, putting liquids in your body.
Can I read Aqidah Tahawiyah by Ibn Abi is al-Hanafi on my own, or is the book difficult and requires a sheikh? And what is the best explanation for this?
I mean, it depends on what level you are, man. So, most of the Sharh of Tahawiyah is taken from the books of Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah. So, it's not, I mean, if the person's not at that level, then I don't advise the person to go read that book on his own. If you do read it, just skip past all that philosophical stuff, because obviously what he's doing, he's not coming with the philosophy, he's refuting the philosophers. But that stuff can be very, very heavy, especially in the Arabic language, because the words, you see these words that these philosophers use, and they're words in Arabic, in the Arabic language, but they don't mean what you think they mean. You know, so you have to have somebody to explain this stuff, and it's very tedious, man. It's very tedious. Well, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to curse the philosophers, akhi, because wallahi, this deen was so much easier before those idiots came in and started spreading their batil, akhi. Because they ended up, because it's the duty of the ulama to refute them. Once they become a danger to the people and their ideas start to spread. So when you start to read through the books of Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, you read like Minhaj Sunnah an-Nabawiyyah, you're gonna hit those areas where he's just like bashing the philosophers. And when you hit those areas, I've actually sat in a room with 30 people, 30 Yemenis. And I said, I'm gonna pass this book around to everybody. And I want anybody, read this page and explain to me what he said. Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah. Akhi, I passed this book around to 30 people, and 30 people could not explain to me what he said, because he was refuting the philosophers and their language, and the language that they use. Like I said, it's Arabic, but it's not the Arabic. It doesn't have the meaning of the words that how we know them. You know, so it's like somebody speaking in like which language. You'll understand it as being an English language, but it's not going to be an English that you understand. You're going to be like, huh? What do you mean by that? And yes, there's a which language. Yeah. So
it seems like philosophy just spreads a lot of confusion and doubt.
Huh?
It seems like philosophy, all it does is just spread confusion and doubt.
Well, because the philosophers, that's their job, is to spread doubt. They don't come up with any solutions. They don't. I mean, go look at what was the whole purpose of like Aristotle and all these people. I wonder what happens after this. It all starts with what? A question. But they're not receiving revelation from the Lord of the worlds to get the answers to their questions, right? Us, we have Islam. We know what happens to a person after his death. We know what we need to know. We don't know everything in complete detail, to the second, to the millisecond, to everything, but we know what we need to know. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he knew that we needed to know. He gave us that knowledge. He sent that to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Prophet gave it to us. All right, so that knowledge is we don't have to sit here and philosophize. Whatever we need to know, it's in the Quran and the Sunnah. That's what we need to know. Whatever is not there, we don't need to know it. We don't need to know it. Khalas, So it's just that we start and stop where the Quran and the Sunnah starts and stops. We limit ourselves to that. Like the people running around, talking about, for example, the people of the Kahf. How many were there? And what type of dog? And what color dog did he? Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like all of this type of philosophical garbage, it has no benefit. Whatever we need to know to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala correctly has been given to us. It's here. That knowledge is present. We don't need to ask these questions anymore. So there's no room for philosophy in it. The days of philosophy, when Islam came, is the death of philosophy. Tayyib, the philosophers asked all those questions. All that metaphysics of Aristotle and all that garbage, they were asking questions. They never got the answers. We got the answers now. Khalas. What do we need to go back and read their garbage for? Why should people go back and read their garbage? And you go back and look at these philosophers, akhi. Even them, they sit there and they don't even come to an agreement amongst themselves. Amongst themselves, they never agree. So khalas. We have the Quran and the Sunnah that is sufficient for us. We don't need to go any further. So like I said, but that's what makes difficulty. Like when you're reading books like a Tahawiyah, when you're reading the Tadmuriyah, when you're reading through the Majmu' al-Fatawa, when you're reading, Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, like Minhaj Sunnah an-Nabawiyyah is an amazing book. Amazing book. Where he refutes the Rafidah. And, and like, what is it? It depends. Like, how many volumes is the one I have, the copy I have? I think it's like 8 or 10 volumes. It's on the second shelf with the green.
It's like 10.
It's 9 volumes. So it's different sizes. Like I had one in Yemen, it was 12 volumes, 9 volumes. So it's a huge book. It's very beneficial. That whole 9 volumes is a refutation of the Rafidah. But he also refutes a lot of the philosophy and all this stuff. When you start to read through that book, Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah. Yeah. All of those books on the top, Shaykh al-Islam. Huh? What's that? Anybody want the last of the tea?
Sure. Well, I give it because I have more than enough. So. This one part? Oh.
Somebody finish it. Any other questions?
Yeah, this one's a historical one. What century did the Sharia influence the rulers? And what common folk after the fitna of Khalq al-Quran?
What's that?
Alright, so what century did the Sharia influence the rulers?
Al-Ash'ariyah.
Yeah, Sharia. And the common folk after the fitna of the Khalq al-Quran. Because many of the early rulers, Seljuks, Ghazavids, were Salafis in Aqidah, etc. Virtually, my question is, when did the Salafiyah become the minority?
Once everything started spreading to all these different, once all these different governments started opening up and then people started buying for power, that's when the truth took a back seat to political power. That's the time of Imam Ahmed and his Sheikh Ali ibn Madini. That was the time, and also in Bukhari, that was the time of the issue of the Khalq al-Quran. That was where that fitna was used. But as far as the Ash'ariyah, I mean, that goes all the way up until the time of Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah and beyond, so even until really till today, so I mean, that influence, that was a little bit later on, the Ash'aris, akhi, wallahi, masakin. I'm not masakin in a good way, masakin in a bad way. Because it's really anybody that follows that madhab is got to be, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. Because you got to understand, Abul Hasan al-Ash'ari, number one, he made tawbah from that. That's the first thing. The second thing was the asl of what he was Mu'tazili. All right, so he was from the Mu'tazila. And then he noticed that he did not agree with the Mu'tazila and he did not agree with the Jahmiyyah. So he tried to come up with what? Like this middle ground between these groups. Not a middle ground based on the Quran and the Sunnah. And when we're talking about the early days, we're talking about before his Tawbah and his madhab. So it's like, imagine now that you're taking the madhab of a person who was trying to find a middle ground between two madhabs that are completely batil. And he knows that they're batil. And he's just trying to like come to some type of way that they can all agree. And they say, okay, well, let's just accept these attributes of Allah and we won't accept anything else. Can we at least come to agreement on it? And you go and you accept this madhab made up by this person who made tawbah from the madhab, who was aslan, he was a Mu'tazili and he became disgruntled with the Mu'tazila, and he was always disgruntled with the Jahmiyyah because they were Ashabul Ghulu aslan. And then he comes up with this madhab, and then you go and you follow this instead of following the Quran and the Sunnah, instead of following the path of the Salaf. And then you want to argue with the Salafis and say, oh, you guys, you're this and that. You're a clown, akhi. If you're in 2025 and you're still following that, akhi, wallahi, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you, akhi. You're like, wallahi, that means you have absolutely nothing here. The people that came up with those types of errors that had their basis in al-Ash'ariyah because that was the biyah that they grew up in. That's not the case nowadays. People are literally choosing to follow these things. They're choosing to follow these things, so it's like, subhanAllah, man, anybody that chooses to follow that is like, akhi, I don't know what to tell you. That's crazy.
What is the best explanation?
But I mean, the Ash'ariyah, they still have power till today. They might call themselves Sufis or they call themselves whatever they are, but that's what they're the ones that are causing, they look at the dawah right now in America. And I'm not talking about the real dawah. I'm talking about this celebrity, fake, phony, smile in your face and, put on a costume of a Muslim and act Muslim in front of the people. The dawah of Mr. Sulaiman, the dawah of all these people. Akhi, come on, man. And this is controlled by the Ash'ariyah. It's controlled by them. But they have different names, So these names of these groups that we have, they don't go by these, a lot of them, they don't go by that name anymore. but they still have what? The same aqidah, same beliefs. So Allah musta'an.
What is the best explanation of the Holy Quran? Is it by Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen or by Abdullah?
Best explanation is Subul al-Salam by Sanani. That's the asl. I mean, that's what like Tawdi al-Ahkam, he takes mostly from Subul al-Salam, you know, so. But Subul al-Salam can be kind of like a little bit difficult for us. If you're talking about the easiest or the best one in the beginning, it's probably Abdullah Ali Bassam. His explanation, Tawdi al-Ahkam, it's probably like the easiest, like the, you know, that breaks it down the easiest. But if you go through like all of his issues with Hadith and all that, he takes that stuff from Shawkani and he takes it from Amir al-Sanani's books. So
we have access to so much info now, yet our level of knowledge is so low. How was the knowledge of the early generations so much more, while their access to information was so much less?
because they have fewer crackheads. Yeah. Crackheads didn't have a voice in their time. People who had knowledge had a voice. People who had knowledge were held in high esteem. Nowadays, if you try to seek knowledge and you try to be educated, you get bullied, you get called names. People look down on you if you're just like trying to spend your life in knowledge. If you try to spend your life in knowledge right now, if you have Muslim parents, they're going to tell you you're wasting your life away. You know, whereas in the past, their parents actually sent them to the ulama to go study the deen because they wanted their kids to become ulama. They dreamed of that. They made dua for that. You know, imagine like look at the mother of Bukhari, man. SubhanAllah. My son was reading the story of the mother of Bukhari that I wrote in which book did I put that in? It was in the 30 lessons for the revitalization of the heart. I put that story. It was a whole chapter that I put in that book. It's called "Will They Ever Get the Credit That They Deserve?" And the whole point of making that chapter was for the women, because the women, we always talk about the ulama, right? And how these people became great ulama, but we don't look at the women that they had behind them. You know, because you look at somebody like, I didn't even realize. We look at like Bukhari, he is an orphan, and his mother took care of him. His mother's the one that made sure that he went out and sought knowledge. Imam Ahmed, the same thing. So we look at these individuals and they had like strong women behind them. You know, so I wrote that chapter in that book, and there's a whole chapter dedicated just to, the women, and that's the title of the chapter, Will They Ever Get the Credit They Deserve? And I put that story of the mother of Bukhari in it. My son read that story the other day and started crying. I mean, that's not embarrassing for you, right? No, that's a good crying. So he started crying because just the beauty of the story. You know, his mother sitting there getting up every night, praying and praying and praying and praying every night because her son, Bukhari, Al-Imam al-Bukhari, lost his vision. He became blind. So she got up and she was praying every single night until she saw Ibrahim in a dream. And, Ibrahim came to her and said, like it's enough. It's enough. Allah has returned the vision to your son because of your crying. All your crying that you did at night. And that morning she went and saw that Bukhari's vision had been returned to him. Had been restored. So look at the strength of that woman, and so, yeah, man, Allah musta'an. What was the original question? I got off on a boon tirade, like a coffee tirade. I forgot.
It was our access to information so much.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's their mothers. They pushed them to go seek knowledge. So when they were in Mecca, Al-Bukhari went down to Mecca with his mother and his brother to make Hajj. And Bukhari was like 16, I think, if I'm not mistaken. You can go check it. He was 16 years old, right? Because you're reading his life right now. Huh? No, when he stayed in Mecca, he was 16 or what? So yeah, so 16 years old, they went down to Mecca, and Bukhari was like, I'm going to stay because I want to seek knowledge. And his mother was like, okay, see you later. She took his brother and her son, and they went back to Bukhara, and he stayed in to seek knowledge at 16 years old. That's the mother that Bukhari, that's the mother. Those are the mothers that raise ulama. Man, these women today ain't raising no ulama, especially not the Arab women. The Arab women are not pushing their children to seek knowledge. The fathers are pushing their children away from seeking knowledge. Like I said, if you're in Yemen and you want to seek knowledge, the father will beat you. The father might beat you. He might start beating you and say like you're wasting your life, akhi. Nah, you got to go out and make us rich. Go find a way to make us rich. Doesn't care about knowledge. So there's no way that you're gonna compare us to them. Their whole lives were dedicated. It died. Can they hear it? So all the stuff, huh? Oh, subhanAllah. That's the second time that's happened, man. The last live stream, the same thing. I'm sitting there talking, and then there's like, oh, the camera's dead.
Oh, yeah.
What's the next question?
It's was that is it permissible to high five or fist bump? What about if a kafir tries to do one of these to you and if you don't do it back, you'll be the odd one out and offensive?
Come on, man. Let's shake a person's hand. I don't do all that stuff. Shake a person's hand. I remember when people were doing all that stuff during that time when everybody was scared. You know, they were doing that elbow bumping. And I remember, man, one brother, he came up to me and I was about to shake his hand and he's like, no, elbow bump. I was like, Akhi, get out my face. Get away from me, Akhi. You're not going to shake my hand, go away. You know, we don't do all that garbage. Yeah. Man, I told him, I was like, nah, don't even, nah, forget it.
Is it okay to do that if, like, your hands are dirty or there's something on them or something?
No, you just excuse yourself. Just say, I apologize, if you like for example, sometimes we're eating and we got food on our hands. And then the person, I just give my hand like that and he shakes my wrist, He doesn't grab my hand. But you can't like sit there and, fist bump and all this. It's from the kuffar.
What about like you're both eating rice, so both your hands are like do something like that?
You just give them salams and leave. Or you just shake the hand of a person who's eating with you, man. Or you just like eating and be like, hey man, shake my hand. It's like, come on.
Just go just give them a wave.
Yeah, there's no. Yeah, like if you're like eating and they're eating and you're like, oh my God, I gotta go, man. Somebody just called. Salam alaikum. Just wave and leave. You can't shake their hands with greasy rice on your hands, and they got greasy rice on their hands, and you just got this greasy rice handshake.
You're eating in the restaurant, someone walks in.
Are the Egyptian prints of books pretty much bad across the board? Does it depend on the book? I sometimes only see the Egyptian prints available.
The Egyptian prints are good because they take a lot of the books that are kind of expensive for students of knowledge, and they print them real cheap, so they're affordable to buy. But yeah, they come with their mistakes. So but that's what they're for. They're for people who don't have the money to get the good prints, so they get the Egyptian prints because it's better to have the book, even if it's an Egyptian print, than to not have the book at all. But those books are printed for that that audience of people who just don't have the money to buy the better prints. Because the Egyptian prints, they got good and they got bad and they got really, really dirt cheap prints.
Like those recycled paper.
No, it's not that. It's really cheaply put together. Like the binding's real weak. Once you finish, by the time you get finished reading the first volume, the bindings already come loose. The book's already falling apart. You might even have pages missing. I had one brother, he brought me back Adab Mufrad from Egypt. This was when I was in Jacksonville. and the cover was upside, like the print was this way and the cover was the opposite direction. The cover was literally upside down. So if you open the print from the cover being right side up, then you open the book and the book is upside down. You know, so that's an Egyptian print. But like I said, if that's all you have, that's all you have. What can you do? You know, so we've had times where we had no choice but to get those, because some books they don't print them. The only people that print them are those Egyptian publishers, because you know, most people, some books, like rare books, people don't buy them, so they print them for the people. But and sometimes that's the only print that you can find. So what are you gonna do?
If you knew for sure someone was going to be.
Hold on, man. Muhammad Fatima said you don't got a secret handshake. We're not Masons, Fatima. We don't practice masonry here. We shake hands. That's it.
Yeah, we're not on shoot rip. Bit shoot.
That's another Ibrahimism.
Shoot.
Shoot.
If you knew for sure someone was going to be memorizing Alfiya ibn Malik, would you still recommend memorizing Al-Ajrubiya?
Everybody should memorize Al-Ajrumiyyah in the beginning. Everybody. That's just a book that everybody, it's a rite of passage, man. If you're a student of knowledge, you either memorize in the beginning, you memorize Al-Ajrumiyyah, or you memorize Mulhat al-I'rab. Mulhat al-I'rab is not as common, and most people don't teach it, so you're stuck with Al-Ajrumiyyah. That's it, man. I mean, back when I first started seeking knowledge, Mulhat al-I'rab was much more popular. Not as popular as Al-Ajrumiyyah, but it was more popular. More people taught it. But nowadays, it's very, very difficult to find somebody to teach that. Very, very difficult to find a lot of students of knowledge nowadays to even know what that metin is. So, Ajrumiyyah, that's you gotta memorize that. If you start Nahu, that's where you start. That's it. You memorize that just like everybody before you had to memorize it. You know, for the last 600 years.
Assalamu alaikum. How should a Muslim upon Manhaj Salaf go about interacting with those who may be deviant, such as the Shia? Should we laugh and joke with them or keep our distance?
No, I mean, everything that we do with them should be advice and teaching. Teaching the people, advising the people. If you see certain people that are more open to advice, you try to spend more time with them. But like laughing and joking with them and becoming buddy-buddy with them, then no. Because that's when you lower your guard, and when you lower your guard, you get punched in the face. It's a very simple rule of life. You never ever put your guard down. Not with a deviant, not with anybody. Not with a hypocrite, not with a kafir, not with anybody. You never put your guard down. You put your guard down, you get hit in the face. You know, but that doesn't mean that we don't deal cordially with people. If we see people are ignorant, you advise them. Like I said, you advise them and teach them. If you see that advice, they're not accepting of the advice, or they're hard-headed and stuff, you leave them. You leave them. You don't mess around with them. Go to somebody else. You know, but as far as like laughing and joking, buddy, nah, we don't do it. I don't laugh and joke with anybody I don't trust. That doesn't mean I don't smile with them. I'll smile and I'll be cordial. But if I don't trust you, then I'm gonna sit here and laugh at you and joke with you. I definitely don't trust no Rafi ever.
Assalamu alaikum, Ustad. A friend was mentioning her husband doesn't care about religion as much. She's started caring more after having a kid. The husband doesn't pray all prayers. Should I inform her that there is a strong opinion that one isn't considered a Muslim due to that? Some people say that he's being too harsh.
No, it's not being too harsh. That's the reality. The person leaves off Salat. He's left Islam. Especially after he's been advised, you've given him that hadith. And the Prophet ﷺ said that الْأَحْدُ الَّذِي بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَهُمْ الصَّلَاةُ فَمَنْ تَرَكَهَا فَقَدْ كَفَرَ. You know, بين الرجل وبين المرء وبين الرجل والكفر والشرك ترك الصلاة. So I mean, this is the evidence. You present the evidence to the people to show them that that the person who leaves off the salat, he's not from a Muslim. He's not a Muslim. He's not from amongst us. You know, and if he continues to leave off salat, then khalas. I mean, it's an obligation for her to go to a person of authority amongst the Muslims. If she's in a Muslim country, go to a judge, and you get the marriage abrogated. Khalas. It's not permissible for her to remain with that person if he's not praying. He's a kafir. Khalas. After he's rejected the evidence, and he's continued on not praying, then he's left Islam. And at that point, khalas, there's no marriage between. She's a Muslimah. It's not permissible for her to remain married with him. That's not being harsh. That's following the Sunnah. But the problem with the majority of people today, they don't like the Sunnah. So, and because the Sunnah it's not in their favor, because they want to be like, lackadaisical with the deen. They want to be lazy. They want to pray whenever they want to pray, and then still be considered a Muslim. So whenever you try to teach them the truth, they don't want to accept it, and they want to call you harsh. That's not harsh. That's deen. If he doesn't want to pray, then khalas, he has no hadith for Islam. That's a statement of Umar ibn Khattab, and I posted it on Telegram the other day. La hadith for Islam liman taraka salat. Like a person who's left off salat has no portion in this deen. That's a statement of Umar ibn Khattab, radiallahu anhu. And that's authentic. Anybody that leaves off salat, he has nothing for us in this deen. Khalas, if he's left salat, then it's not permissible for her to remain with him. It's not permissible for him to be raising Muslim children. He should, khalas, everything, until he makes tawbah and goes back to his deen.
So what about if somebody like they pray, but they waited until after the time for the
Salah is rejected, but he still prays.
still Muslim?
Yeah. This is awesome. Major awesome. Like a major disobedient person.
What about someone who prays like 3 out of 5?
No. Because he's left off too. So
What if he prayed those two, but they were just past time?
No, he prayed them, he prayed them. Yeah.
That's not valid.
It's not if it's without a reason. If he sat there and let the prayer go out with no reason, just sitting there watching the time go by, maybe he's playing a video game and he didn't want to stop the video game, and the time for the prayer went out, then yeah, he's the prayer. He still has to pray it but it's not accepted, because that's not a valid excuse. But why you didn't pray?
If he prays it, even though he was playing video games all day, he didn't leave.
If he purposely leaves the prayer, constantly, purposely lets the prayer go out with no concern, then he's considered a person who's left off salah. If he's done that on purpose with no concern, and khalas, and his salah is not accepted. He has to pray it, because then it'll be complete. Once he said, okay, stop, I prayed, but that salah is invalid, even though he prays it.
Yeah.
Because he purposely allowed that salat to go out of its time. So that person is considered he left salat. But a person who's doing something stupid like playing video games and just like looking at the clock, oh, I'm going to pray in 10 minutes, and then the time goes out. That person he hasn't left off the salat, but he's committed a grave sin. That he needs to repent from.
But if the person's like focused on some like work or something, and then the salah just slipped his mind and he just remembered.
When he remembers, he prays. Yeah. 'Cause he forgot. He just forgot. That happens to everybody. I mean, I know certain times I've been very busy. I've literally prayed Asr, and then an hour later I'm like, did I pray Asr? Because you're just praying in your mind, so busy.
Yeah.
And I go back and pray it again, even though I know I pray. I'm like 90% sure I prayed it, but I still go back and pray it again. It happens. We're human, So
after advising the person who doesn't pray, can you make takfir on them, or do you have to go to the imam?
I wouldn't, if you're not a person of knowledge, I don't make takfir of him, but I wouldn't deal with him anymore. I mean, I wouldn't. That's it. As far as my dealings with him would be like he's a Catholic. When I was in Yemen, during one of my stints of needing money and having to go teach English to get money, there was one student I had. He's a very good student, very funny guy. He loved he just loved being a guy. He had diabetes, just like my son. Same thing, type 1 diabetes, and he died. And they're it's one of those types of things where it's because you're like, man, this is a cool kid, man. And then you find out that he died, and he's your student. And but then the first thing I asked him, I said, man, because I know I said, I asked his closest friend, I said, did he used to pray? He said, no. I said, Allah Musta'an. I don't say rahimahullah. I mean, even though, like I said, he was a good kid, and I saw like a lot of good in him, but once I found out he didn't pray, khalas, man, I got nothing. I didn't go to his funeral, and I don't say rahimahullah. And I feel sad, like I really feel like, subhanAllah, like what a wasted life, You live in a land of the Muslims, where ulama are all over the place, and you die without praying. Akhi, you got zero excuse, akhi. There's zero excuse. And we talked about this all the time, akhi. We talked about these issues all the time.
After doing Sharh al-Mumti by Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen, what to do next?
I mean, you got to ask the ulama of Saudiya, because that's not a path that we traversed in Yemen. We don't do those types of books. We go through books of Hadith. So, I mean, you'd have to go and ask the ulama in Saudiya what you should do next, because that's, like I said, that's not the path that I don't take it, and I don't want to take it. I'll read the book, but it's not like that pathway of going through those types of books. That's not the pathway I'm concerned with. I'm more concerned with focusing on books of Hadith.
What is the meaning?
Oh yeah, I was going
What is the meaning of the Hadith? Inama at-du'a fil ma'ruf, as it relates to the issue of obeying one's parents and leaving off things.
What was it again?
Is it
Say it, you see it. That's who? Yeah, the parents command you to do something that's disobedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you don't do it. But you don't do it, and you don't refuse to do it in a arrogant manner or a aggressive manner. You still have to, they're still your parents. But if you don't do it, you have to let them know why I can't do it. You look at Ibrahim and how he was with his father. Even though his father was a mushrik, even though his father was he was one of the people. He wasn't just a mushrik. His father used to make the idols that they worshiped. I mean, imagine that. Like, he used to actually make the idols that they worshiped. But look how he dealt with his father, and look at his relationship. How he tried his best to stay, soft with his father, and speak to his father in a kind and gentle manner to get him to accept the truth. But he would not. Again, when they commanded him to do things that he's not going along with that. So that's your uswa, That's your how can I say this? Your role model that you should follow when you're looking at how to deal with your parents. Look at Ibrahim and the way that he dealt with his father.
Is it correct for me to call the non-Muslims kuffar when I call the disbelievers kuffar in front of some of the Muslims? They act like I'm saying something wrong.
Because they're weak, and they're weak. They're kuffar. Allah called them kuffar. I don't care what these people say. I don't care about your emotions and feelings. I'm not put on this earth to sit here and just like sit here and make sure that you're feeling okay and sit there and like how can I say this, like pet you and calm you down and make you feel comfortable. That's not my job. My job is on whatever time I have on this earth is to follow the truth and call the people to the truth. Allah called them kuffar. I don't care about what somebody else says. I don't care about this person's feelings. Oh, we're in America, we can't do this. Yeah, oh, yes, we can. I mean, are they putting you in jail for saying it? Are they persecuting you? Are they taking videos down? Are they? No, of course, it's freedom of speech, right? So this is what I'm saying. Like, this is the problem, man. Where again, you got all those people, because a lot of the people, they come from countries that they didn't have that open ability to speak, right? And then they come here and they don't want you to say things because they don't want you trying to ruffle feathers and cause ripples in the water. Yeah, this is let us deal with what the things that we know how to deal with. People in our country, we know how to deal with them, and you stay out of our business. This is the way that we're going to deal with things, because we know this is not a country. America is not a country for weak people. If you're going to be weak here, people are going to trample all over you. You're going to get used, abused, and exploited. This country right here, if you want to be successful in this country, you have to be strong, and you have to remain. Whatever principles you have, you better stand on them. Because people are going to test you, and you will get tested in the society. And as soon as they see weakness, trust me, it's going to be exploited. You know, so nah, man, we don't follow that garbage. This is our deen. We're going to follow our deen. Khalas, we don't care what the people say. Kafir, kafir, kafir. Allah called them kuffar. We're going to call them kuffar. That's it. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam called them kuffar. We're going to call them kuffar. You know, they don't accept it. They don't like being called kuffar. Then change it. Change your reality. Change the reality about yourself. Khalas.
How are the Imam Muhammad ibn Saud books for learning Arabic?
Huh?
How are the Imam Muhammad ibn Saud books for learning Arabic?
They're good. I mean, except for the pictures, but I mean, everything as far as the structure of the book is very good. And if you have the whole series, which includes everything, it includes fiqh, it includes hadith, is very, very beneficial for learners of the Arabic language. It's a whole curriculum. Like, mashallah, they have a very, very big curriculum for that series.
So you know there's flesh-eating bacteria going around and people have gotten it from warm water. Some have said we should boil the water. Should we do that and make wudu with the boiled water?
I'm not a scientist, dude. I don't know about no flesh-eating bacteria. I don't know anything about this. We can ask our friend over here.
Oh, yeah, well, what's
Did they teach you this in chemistry class?
design chemistry?
I mean, yeah, like if your water isn't clean, then boil it.
There it is.
All right.
What's going on with Twitter?
Huh?
What's going on with Twitter?
I don't know what's going on with it.
The post
What post?
where saying sharing the hatred for Twitter.
What's that?
For sharing the hatred for Twitter.
Sharing the hatred for what? The toilet.
Twitter.
Twitter.
What about it?
No, I just because it says and then the announcements will be on both YouTube and Twitter.
Because some people, they don't like to use Twitter because it's a cesspool. I agree with them. I don't go on Twitter. I don't sit there and do anything on Twitter. But the thing it is that there was this whole Institute Twitter account that was not being used. It was collecting dust. So I wanted my kids to run it and start to put the announcements and everything just for announcements, not to go back and forth with anybody, but just to post the announcements. But because I noticed that people just didn't want to go there, you know, people that stopped using it. So I said, okay, khalas, man, we'll just do them on both. But some people, they just don't want to go to Twitter.
Oh, you're going to switch to only Twitter.
To put all the announcements on Twitter, yeah. Like any of the announcements, like for example, a new book's coming out, then we'll announce it on Twitter. If there's no class, then we're going to announce it on Twitter. Things like that. But when I noticed that some of the people were like, we don't want to go back to Twitter no more, you know, so I was like, I feel you. So I said, okay, khalas, inshallah, we just have to post it on both, you know.
Plus the Telegram.
The Telegram has nothing to do with Institute. That's just me
Oh yeah.
waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning and just
Angry?
not angry. Like sometimes I literally wake up like this was on my mind while I was sleeping, and I woke up and start typing it, and Asad wakes up and is like, Bob, I'm like, go away, you know, let me finish typing this before it leaves my mind, you know. So Twitter's just like, not Twitter, but Telegram is just like it's my diary. It's like this is what was on my mind when I wrote it, you know. Yeah, what to do.
Oh, no. It said, how can I differentiate from loving the kuffar and that which is natural? Is, for example, telling them you love them and showing them affection for all.
If it's your family, showing them affection is a part of your duty to them. You know, and it's not impermissible to show affection to them. You know, if you had a wife who's, you know, let's say that you married a woman who fit the conditions of Ahlul Kitab that you're allowed to marry, and you married her. And would you not show affection to her? She's your wife. And then she ends up becoming the mother of your children. Would you not have affection? Would you not show that affection to her? Of course. But do you love what she's upon? Do you agree with this? Do you love her in that regards? Absolutely not. Would you defend her on the batil that she's upon? Absolutely not. So again, as like I said, it's a fine line between deen and everything else. And the deen that comes first. And that's why we, again, you know, you have kuffar that, you know, if you work with kuffar, for example, you got some honest dudes, some hard-working, honest dudes. You know, and naturally you're going to be inclined towards a person who's like that. You know, and to reward a person, like you say that you're the manager of a company, you got a kafir working for you. You're going to sit here and not reward him for his hard work because he's a kafir? You know, and he's been working hard and he's been doing everything that you want him to do and more. So these types of things are just natural. And then you're going to have some type of inclination towards him. You might have 4 workers and 1 kafir, that are Muslim and 1 kafir, right? But the kafir outworks the 4 Muslims double. Who are you going to give the hours to? And the Muslims are going to complain and be like, y'all a bunch of lazy bums. Akhi, start working like this kafir, and then I'll start giving you more hours, you know, but that's the reality. It's just, but that's natural. That's not deen. You understand? Huh?
Bunch of loungers with staying at home class. They're not part of the working class.
You're that's you.
Right, Alex, both of them.
Oh, both of them were the.
I just finished my welding school. I'm looking for work.
You just kick their feet up all day.
While you're out there tiling the world up, man.
6 days a week over here.
He's toiling.
I just went to school.
Yeah. Nothing, man. Disappointments. Both of these guys. He's over there playing with his beakers, and this guy's over there, you know,
Welding.
yeah, welding is like his bed frame together.
It's the same bed frame over and over again.
Kicking a carpet like,
Yeah. Is it permissible
Yeah.
to?
You know what a beaker is, right?
yeah, it's one of those science tubes that you
Okay.
put the chemistries in there.
Is it permissible to learn Arabic from someone who may be an innovator at a Ash'ari or a Tabliki? Is it if it's strictly learning Arabic and no one on the correct path is close to me?
That's a hard question. That's a hard question. I mean, that depends. I mean, look, if the person's not strong in the religion, it's just the same thing of like reading books. You know, certain books that that are beneficial, but they have a lot of craziness in them. If you're at that type of level of knowledge where you can read and you can differentiate between what's, you know, because people, you gotta understand, they can slip that stuff in. They can slip it in, man. It's, if you go and you read the explanation of Al-Kafarawi, the Ajurumiyya, he slipped that stuff in there. He just, and I didn't even catch it until I read it the second time. I'm like, whoa! Then he just said that, you know. I can't remember the exact statement because this was like years. This is like over a decade ago that I read that book, and it's a good explanation of Al-Ajurumiyya, and the whole explanation of Al-Ajurumiyya is good, but he just slipped that one thing in, and what it was he was trying. No, I remember it had to do with the meaning of kalam. And you know, because obviously the whole thing about the Quran being makhluk is because they're saying that this is not kalam, like words. You know, that this is like, instead that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't speak with words, that what he does is he sends the meaning into the heart of the person. You know, and it's just complete foolishness, Akhi. But he slipped that into his explanation of Al-Ajurumiyya. So, I mean, you have to be careful. I mean, you have to be careful. I mean, there's a lot of YouTube stuff that you can benefit from, but anytime that you're dealing with people who aren't on the correct aqidah, you're walking in a danger zone, man. You're like really, really, really walking in a dangerous area. Like you're like, you know, you're in the most dangerous neighborhood at 2 o'clock in the morning, counting your money outside. You know, that's the type of danger that you're in, and like you just want to get robbed and shot and killed. You know. So I like try to avoid that as much as possible.
Well,
If you have knowledge and you can fight it, it's still dangerous. You know.
Yeah, Abu Rahina, he posts his classes on YouTube.
Yeah, go study with him.
And you got you can get the book off of Amazon, and the Ustad here, he also has his own Arabic classes.
Who?
The Ustad.
I'm teaching Arabic.
Yeah. Didn't you post like a few videos?
Yeah, I'm trying to do more of it, but
Okay.
those videos take too long, man.
Okay.
Y'all don't know how much work that is. I'm gonna have to start. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait till the winter time comes, inshallah, and I'm gonna record 1,000 of those videos. It's too hot, Akhi, because I gotta turn off everything. the AC, the the fan, and I'm using the tab. I'm using my laptop. It's got the tablet thing, so I'm actually writing on the screen of the laptop, and sweat's dripping on the laptop screen. It's like that's why you see I haven't posted one of those videos. It's tedious, man. And then I might have to record it 4, 5, 6, 7 times. So I might just that little 8-minute video might take an hour. It might take an hour because I don't know all that editing and all that stuff. So I will record the video until I go through. I tried to edit it one time and ended up repeating and actually put the mistake into the video. Like a dummy. So I don't know how to do that stuff. So I have to record it until it's all correct. I don't know. I'm not like I don't know how to do that stuff. So hopefully, inshallah, soon I plan to start teaching online, inshallah. But we'll see, inshallah. See how it goes.
Ustad, would you say after getting married, the rate at which you acquired knowledge increased, decreased, or remained about?
I've already answered this question, and I told y'all that as soon as I got married, it just shot through the roof.
Really?
Yeah, it's hard to study when your hormones are like causing your brain to boil. You know what I'm saying? So I went to Yemen. I was 21 years old. And again, it's like we didn't live that type of life that the Salaf lived. We went to the candy shop and tasted all the different candies. Then we entered into Islam. And now we're like,
Yeah, you spent 20 plus years in it, or not?
Well, not 20, but like from the time of let's say 15 to 21, just complete chaos, I think. And then we just stopped. And now we're Muslim. Now we're practicing. Now I'm in the middle of a desert trying to study my religion. Yeah, come on, man. The whole time I was just like marriage. Like, I go to sleep thinking about marriage, wake up thinking about marriage, and everything is just marriage. So once I got married, it's just, oh my God, Allah. It was just so much of a relief. So much of a relief. And just like my mind settled, everything settled, and I could focus so much better. It's the biggest ni'mah. Wallahi, if you get married and you have a Muslimah and and alhamdulillah, man, it's just the biggest ni'mah in this world. Wallahi, there's no ni'mah like it. Even subhanAllah. Huh? What? I don't know, did he? He never married. Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah never married. I think Imam al-Nawawi also never married. But but Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, he never married because he's getting locked up a lot. So Imam Ahmed, he didn't get married until he was like 49, something like that, like real late. Where he's like, all right, I guess it's time to do that, But I mean, people are different, man. So, but like me, it was not permissible for me not to be married. That's that's it, khalas, man. I was a danger to myself. I feel not to be married. So that's like no. And in that case, you have to get married. And like I said, once I got married, it was just like this whole relief. Now I can just pick up a book and focus.
What if you financially can't afford it?
And go financially find a way to afford it. Everybody can afford it some way, somehow. The only problem, like maybe in America, is just finding a Muslim woman to marry is very difficult in America. Very, very difficult. In America, boy, it sucks. If you're trying to get married in America, yeah, man, you're gonna go through it. You better go just get some weights in the punching bag and take your frustrations out on that, because trying to get married here, whew.
How do I handle it though, Ustad? In Egypt, so many people, from what I know, say things like mentally and have beliefs of criticizing the ruler. And how can I seek knowledge?
You seek knowledge. I mean, do what you gotta do. I mean, look, you're responsible for you. You're not responsible for them. You're responsible for your actions and your family and the people under your care. Focus on that, Akhi. Don't focus on what people say. If we sat there and focus on everybody that called us a name, everybody that says something about us, Akhi, when will we ever get anything done in this world? Seriously, when would anybody get anything done in this world if that's all we focus on? That's what's going on social media today, is where they're just getting you focused on what? This person calling these people that, and these people calling those people that. And yeah, akhi, this is garbage, akhi, to the highest order, or to the lowest order, because garbage doesn't go high, it goes low, right? But you just do what you gotta do. You do what you gotta do, no matter how you gotta do it. If you can't, if being amongst the people is just, you don't have people, go become a monk. I don't mean become a literal monk, but I'm saying sit in your house, read books, do what you gotta do. But get it done. I mean, there's always gonna be a way to do something. We're never like people who speak the truth. In the time of the Prophet ﷺ, you gotta understand that the majority of the people, even Islam, when Islam was at its highest, at its peak, the Muslims were not the majority of the earth. You understand? The majority of the earth was never, has never been true, like people who, and even at the time when the Muslims were so many, the people who followed the Quran and the Sunnah were not the majority. So you're a minority amongst a minority amongst a minority. Deal with it. That's just the reality. You just got to deal with it. You got to be strong. It's not a deen for weakness. And this is not the time to be weak. At this time right now, we do not need weakness. Weakness right now, like I said, is going to get you trampled on. Right now, you're going to have to practice your deen and to maintain your deen. In this time that we live in, we're going to all have to be strong. And the only way that we're going to be strong is through the help of Allah. So that's where you got to seek your assistance. You have to constantly go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with obedience, dua. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, huwa al-qawi. So he's going to be the one that gives you the strength. So
I'm considering making hijrah to Europe and moving after getting married to a Gulf country in the future. I'm drawn to Europe because history and culture by the government is one of my biggest concerns.
Iraq, you said?
Yeah, Iraq.
That's going to be where all the chaos is going to be. But not the good chaos. So I want to go to Iraq. There's nothing there right now anyways. Shia got control. I want to go there.
Indonesia,
I mean, look, Indonesia, I would, you had to go somewhere to at least study a religion first and get the Arabic language. And then go to it, because, you got to understand, like, I had a very close friend of mine. I don't want to mention his name because, I mean, what I'm about to say about him is not like it's bad, but it's real. But maybe he doesn't want me to say this about him. But he's a very close friend, very good brother. And when he got to the Madj, he memorized the Quran. Indonesian brother. All right, he memorized the Quran, he memorized Bulugh al-Maram right away, And I remember one time I was sitting down with him, we were drinking tea. And I was asking about it, asking him this, he said, yeah, I memorized Quran and I memorized Bulugh al-Maram. And I said, mashallah, he said, all of us have to do that. And I said, well, what do you mean? He said, all the Indonesians, we do this. All of us. And we all remember, when we come here, we memorize the Quran, we memorize Bulugh al-Maram. Then we start to take classes. We start to take other classes. But he said we all have to, he said that's the bare minimum that we all have to do. And that's of course why I kept talking about the early days when I started talking on Telegram, is about setting standards and having these standards. Because you see, they all had these standards, that they all had to meet these standards before they started going off into other classes. So this brother, he went back to Indonesia, and he wasn't a part of Dawah. He was, he went back to Indonesia, he started working, supported, he wants to get married, he wants to start a family, so he works. I spoke to him when I was in Saudi Arabia. I managed to get his phone number from another brother through another brother, and I got his number. And when I spoke to him, I was sending him messages. I was speaking to him on WhatsApp, and I was sending him messages in Arabic, and he was responding to me in English. And I was like, dude, you never spoke English before. But he's like, because I was speaking really fast. Like when I talk Arabic, I kind of talk pretty fast. And he was like, Muhammad, you need to slow down. He said, I don't understand Arabic that well anymore, because he said, I'm back in Indonesia, I don't speak Arabic a lot. He lost everything, so, and this is a person, like I said, studied the Arabic language, memorized the Quran, memorized Bulugh al-Maram, went back to Indonesia and forgot. He forgot how to speak. He couldn't understand what I was saying in Arabic. So you got to understand, there's a good side and there's a bad side. Indonesia is a very good country. Very, very good people, man. Like this brother that I'm talking about, wallahi, one of the nicest people. If the only person that you ever knew from Indonesia was this brother, you would love all the Indonesians just based off of this brother. If you thought that even 1/1000th of the country was like him, you would love the whole entire country. That's how good this brother was. And he was not a outlier. You understand? He was pretty normal amongst the brothers. They were all very well-mannered, good character, very quiet. Like you never saw the Indonesians laughing out loud, and you know, like Americans, how we are. You know, we're very loud. We laugh a lot. We laugh out loud. We want everybody to hear us, everybody's attention on us. But they're like very quiet, very studious, very, you know, like very serious and very organized about the way that they do things. Very meticulous in the way that they study, and they come there with a plan. They come there already knowing the Arabic language, you know. But still, going back to their country, if they're not involved in dawah, they end up forgetting a lot of what they study. So going and living in Indonesia, you're not gonna like, maybe if you're in one of those Marakas, but even in those Marakas, they might not be teaching in Arabic. I don't know. I've never been there. And you know where the brothers that I know where they're at, they might be teaching some classes in Arabic, and other classes they might be teaching in the Indonesian language. So I don't know, you know. But you have to go sit amongst the ulama, and if you want to study Arabic language, obviously you go to a country where that's spoken. That's where you study the Arabic language amongst the people whose language is Arabic. You know?
I saw a lot of the Indonesians and Malays and in Medina and Mecca, and you can just tell that
they're on a different level as far as humanity is concerned. They're like, well, I wish I could be like them. Like their mannerisms and everything is just, yeah, man, it's just so cool. Even the way that they dress is very crisp. Their clothes are always clean, always, you know. Mashallah. Huh? Yeah, they're clean in every regard. Like their clothes are clean, their character is just real clean. Yeah. You know, you can tell that these are not people that have been running around messing with girls and drinking alcohol and doing drugs. Like they don't have that type of background, these brothers. You know, they grew up however they grew up, but it wasn't like that. You know, they got a good mother, good father in the house, good upbringing, and you can tell the difference. I think you can compare them and compare them to like the society that we grew up in. I think we grew up in a dumpster, I think, complete dumpster, and we're proud of it, and we boast and we brag about it. And when you travel and you see all the other people, all the different cultures, and you realize, I think we grew up we live in a dumpster. We live like where all the countries of the world dump their garbage into America. You know, like the people that come here, they only come here for the purposes of making money. They're not, you know, so these are the worst of all people. I think they have no principles. No, they don't care what they do. And you know what they do to get that money, they're just here to make money. They don't care. Muslims selling alcohol in their shops, so be it. Selling lottery tickets, who cares? Selling pork, who cares? They don't care. Okay, as long as they're doing what? Making money. So I mean, we got the dumpster, man. We're the dumpster of the world. You know, where all the dumpster stuff, we get all the filth. But you go and you go traveling around the world and you see those brothers, wallah, it's a whole, and it's not just the Indonesians. You know, we have the worst manners, the worst character, the worst everything. I mean, I don't know what we can actually sit here and say. Even our education, Akhi, is garbage, Akhi. It's garbage. You can't even compare, like, most of the math teachers overseas in the math teachers in the Middle East are from Iraq, the older Iraqis from the time of Saddam Hussein, or they're from like Lebanon. And these dudes are like masters of math, right? You're not gonna see an American math teacher, you know, an American. No, you know. So even our education is just completely, you know, it's completely garbage. Go to Sudan and look at like the University of Khartoum back in the days and the type of education there. And the average Sudanese person who's educated has memorized the Quran, memorized all this classical poetry, and he studied grammar, and he's got all this stuff, and he's not even a student of knowledge, Akhi. Now he goes and starts studying the deen. Yeah, he's gonna surpass us. And one brother that we had in Damaj, his name was Abu Bakr. I don't know what happened with this brother. He's from Sudan. Young kid. Very young. He's like maybe 20-something, like the same age as we were at the time. Man, like you can tell the difference between us and him. So innocent. best manners, best everything, smiling all the time. Sheikh loved him, everybody loved him. You know, Abu Bakr, but it's just like, you know, it's, us, we're I don't know, man. We got nothing to brag about. Seriously, if bragging was even permissible, we would have nothing to brag about. Nothing. Well, like if you look in our society, the most corrupt people get the most attention. The scientists, the people with knowledge, well, like YouTubers make more money than them. What type of society do you live in when you the doctors, you know, you got brain surgeons, Akhi, that make less than a YouTuber. Try to make that make sense. Brain surgeons, cardiac surgeons, like, you know, cardiologists, people that, you know, do heart transplants and stuff, and they make less than a YouTuber. You know, and who makes more than these doctors? Corporate lawyers make more than those doctors. Corporate liars. So it's like, if you really want to be successful in this society, you have to be trash. You have to be trash. You can't be a person of truth to be successful, because everybody's going to come against you to shut you up. And they will. They're going to find a way to shut you up, even if it means killing you or putting you in jail. But they're going to find a way to shut you up in this society. You know, if you start to get too big of a following about truth, you know. So, man, it's subhanAllah, man. People need to travel. People need to get out and see the world, because, like, subhanAllah, if you grew up in the West, and this is not just specific to America, but out of all the Western countries, like, even the British, there's a big difference. You could tell the difference. Like, if you saw British and Americans, like in Damaj, you could tell who the British are and who the Americans. It's very clear. Who the French are, who the Americans are, who the Canadians are, who the Americans are. Like, we're a very special people. Special in a bad way, not in a good way. And we just got to approve this, man. And I'm not saying this to bash us. I'm saying this to wake us up, so we can start to, like, try to become better. Because I don't like this. I don't like to come back to the country and see that this is the state of the Muslims. You know, I could be like everybody else, Akhi, and just go. I can leave now. I got my paperwork situated now where I can get my passport back finally. You know, I can leave and never be a part of this ever again. But I can't after I've seen this, you know. So at least to try to advise the people, just like, there's so much that we need to work on. So much that we need to change. It's love for criminals. It's love for corruption. It's love for all this. All this stuff got to be thrown out the window as Muslims. You know, because wallahi, this is the biggest thing. You know, you look at this, like, right now, who's gonna get more views right now? And I'm not talking about views from the kuffar. I'm talking about views from Muslims. Right now, a person who's sitting online, making videos on YouTube, teaching the Quran and the Sunnah, or a rapper who raps all day about killing people. Who are the Muslims gonna watch more of? The rapper. These are the Muslims. Forget the kuffar. I don't care about them. They're not my concern. The Muslims are going to watch that rapper more than they're going to watch the person who's going to teach them their deen. We got too much to work on, man. Too much to work on. And most of those Muslims that are watching that garbage are Arabs, children of immigrants, Pakistanis, Arabs, like this. They're the ones watching that stuff. Us as American Muslims, we become Muslim, we leave that stuff. Most of us, not all of us. You know, in fact, nowadays, not even most of us. You know, so Allah musta'an. Back in the days, most of us.
I remember the first time I left the country, I was like 22. That's when I saw all that. That's when I realized what America was truly about.
Well, I mean, you guys, you're like half Mexican, right?
Yeah.
Look at the Mexicans that grew up in America.
Yeah.
Look at the Mexicans that grew up in Mexico. Big difference, right?
I never been to Mexico.
But go and you see, right? Yeah. But you can see the Mexicans that come here fresh from Mexico.
Yeah.
Nice people. Cool people.
Some of them. Some of them. That's the minority of them are like that.
What?
Wow, those people are no good.
What are you talking about?
Just a bunch of cartel.
I'm not talking about those types of people. I'm not talking about the gang affiliated, because that's the corruption seeping from America into Mexico. I'm talking about just you're American, not you're American, sorry. You're just normal Mexican guy who lived in the village his whole life, minding his own business. Big difference than the kid that was raised up in America, even if he was not affiliated with anything. I'm not talking about all that gang stuff, because all that gang stuff is still corruption from here. It's all, just seeping through. So you see the big difference. Even my neighbors around here, I can tell the difference. Like, these dudes, they're like Mexican. and they smile and joke. Hey, how you doing? Waving at each other. You know, it's a different type of vibe. You know. But subhanAllah, the American vibe is just it's garbage. Allah is garbage. I'll never wanted my kids to ever see this place. But you know, Allah wrote what He wrote, man. So, any other questions? It's 11 o'clock, so we gotta wrap it up.
Oh wow. Yeah, what would be an Arab country you would recommend making hijrah to with the intent of seeking knowledge and starting a family?
Like this whole thing about making hijrah, you gotta understand. I would leave out of the country with the intention of staying as long as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has written for me to stay gone. Because these countries they're not accepting of us. You know, it's not like you could just go there and say, hey, I'm making hijrah to the Muslim world and you're just going to be accepted with open arms like, oh, the prodigal son has returned. You know, they're not going to, you know, they're going to like, okay, give us the money. We want the money. Where's your money? Where's your American money? That's the reality. So I would just make the intention to try to leave and stay gone as long as you can stay gone.
Even in Indonesia, they're like that?
Every country's like that. Once you leave America, man, it's just the reality is you're American, they want American money. If you can dish out American money, you can stay in our country as long as you want to stay.
Yeah.
You know?
That was another thing I realized when I left the country, is how much people, like, you can spot the American a mile away, and people will, like, just want their money, like, scam them.
Yeah.
Like, I was in Romania, so there was a lot of gypsies, a lot of pickpockets. Like, the first day I was, like, in the mall, I was trying to log into, like, a city scooter. This little kid, like, reached in my pocket, I swatted his hand away, and was like, money, please, give me money, I want money.
Yeah, he knew who was pickpocketing, man. Yeah, he's like, that's a Mariki.
Yeah.
Damn gypsies outside of the masjid.
Yeah, there was one outside today.
You should pickpocket them.
To rob it to female, I'm not
Pickpocket the gypsies, man.
There's always women. They always send women.
Yeah, they're trying to gyp you.
That's why they call them gypsies.
Yeah.
Nothing else? One more question, then we go, man.
Alright, last question. It is the last question, actually, now that I see it. If a speaker says something about the rulers or criticizes the scholars for the situation happening...
Well, but going back to that, if there's one country that I would say to live in, Yemen, actually. Yemen, you know, because Yemen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is allowed, like, you know, this is a time, like, right now you see that Allah has put barakah in that country. You know, from the dua of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so you see the truth spread there. And the people are, I mean, you got this and you got that, you know, you got, with Yemen, you got to take the good with the bad, but overall, if I had one country to choose that I would live the rest of my days on this earth out in that country, it would be Yemen. And no other country. Second would be Indonesia.
I agree.
So Yemen, then Indonesia.
Oh yeah. If a speaker says something about the rulers or criticizes the scholars for the situation happening in the Ummah, I automatically start distrusting them. Is that fine?
Yeah, that's absolute, that's wajib. To distrust the person who's speaking out, because again, he's speaking out against the two authority figures, the Muslim rulers and the ulama, for following the sunnah and not speaking out against the rulers, and he wants to speak out against both of them. And who is he? Okay, is he some type of resource of knowledge where everybody's going back to him for knowledge? No, he's a muftin. He's a person of fitna. A person that wants to cause dissension amongst the Muslims and causes chaos. I don't support that stuff even here. I mean, we live in America, right? I'm like, man, leave this politics stuff alone, man. Just leave it alone, because here you're watching it, right? How many times have you seen in America where people get all political, and what happens? Chaos, right? Once people get too loose speaking out against the government, even here, what do you see? Chaos. You see chaos all the time. You're going to see riots. You're going to see, and we watched it, Akhi. We watched it. We sat there and had the front row seat. We didn't have the front row seat. We were inside the ring in Yemen, watching all this stuff happen. And we saw the results. Akhi, anybody that causes that stuff, Akhi, I'm done with them. And, you know, I will advise them. And if the person doesn't stop, I have nothing to do with that person ever again. because that person is a person of chaos. We solve problems, we don't cause them. And you sitting out, getting out and publicly complaining about our situation is not solving problems. It's not solving, it causes problems. So we want to solve problems. That means use that energy that you have to call the people back to the sunnah. You see these same people that speak out against the rulers are the same people that will get on you about following the sunnah. Because why do you got a beard, and why are your pants above your ankles, and why do you want to study the deen, and why don't you just go get a profession, and you're wasting your life. These are the same people. So why would we listen to them? They're clowns, Akhi. We don't listen to clowns. Like I said, we don't take our deen from clowns. We don't take nothing from clowns. We take our deen from the Quran and the Sunnah, and we don't take our deen from buffoons and clowns and jesters of the court. So they want to sit there and run around and yell and scream. Let them do that. But again, we don't partake in any of that. We don't listen to those people.